check, 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 check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Vader Games in the building. You know what we do? Sunday, 9 p.m. UK time, 5 p.m. Toronto East Coast time, and 11 p.m. out in South Africa for all my peeps out there. I want to thank all of you for tuning in. I want to thank you all for the messages. Let me see if I still have those on screen because I got to shout out those that are first. You know what I mean? I got to shout out those that are absolutely first. FIFA in the building, consistent. If there's anyone that's in the comments more consistent than FIFA, I don't know, man. With Start Carson, you need to stop with that. But FIFA is mad consistent, and I gotta shout out the girl RK. The notification gang is here. Thank you so much. Thanks for tuning in. We are live. We are live, and this is episode 4 of Intelligent Agendas, CIA for short. You know what it is. So, standard Vader Games TV. First things first, my peoples come first. And my peoples are everyone that's already in the comments. Shout out with those. Lewis in the building. And it's also for everyone that's here for the first time or here returning from previous episodes. I want to thank you so very much. I see my man, True City Fan, in the building. His details are in the description. In the building. True City, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm good. Everyone, let me know. Let me make sure that the levels are good. StreamYard's been a little trippy lately, so let me make sure my microphone. Yeah, you know what? Let me turn this up. That should be better for you guys. StreamYard reset some things, so bear with me. But we got True City in the building. Episode 4 of CIA, and we got a lot to discuss. Let me make sure everything that I want to have on screen is going to properly show up on screen for you guys. Let me do this. Let me do this. Oh, damn, I messed up a little bit. Hold on. Why is it doing that? Oh, I know what's going on. Let me turn this to that. Actually, no. Why is it doing that? Oh, see, this should have been done beforehand. Apologies. I got the standings, and it's not showing up here. What it is. Yo, Blue in the building. Actually, you guys are saving me right now. Let me put this on screen. Blue in the building. Yes, Blue Heart in the building. Good evening, everyone. Guys, you see based off of the title right now. 13 goals in 2 games. Absolutely insane. 13 goals in 2 games. CIA, we need to deal with, we really need to deal with the agendas. You know what I mean? On CIA, we deal with the agendas. We don't really go over results, but we're definitely going to have to talk about those results. Let me see if this is still on screen and if it's looking good. Okay, now this is tripping me out. Why is this doing this to me? Why is that doing this to me? Okay. I got True City Fan. If you haven't followed, if you haven't subscribed to his channel, definitely do so. If you also have not followed him on Twitter, make sure to do so. True City Fan's he's unique with how he tweets, right? Because if you don't know him, you don't really realize the jabs that he's throwing out, right? So just understand that when you do check him out, but definitely follow him on Twitter. Now, you see based off of what's here on the screen, we do this 4 weeks in a row now. We do this, all right? We're going to deal with the EPL standings, okay? And the reason why we deal with the EPL standings is because we got to know where our threats are. We got to know where the danger is, all right? So I'm going to make sure we have that first and foremost. And then we're going to put up the upcoming fixtures. The fixtures are going to be important. And you know what? Let me do this. Close that. I don't know why this is tripping on me, man.
What's going on?
This is tripping. my screens right now won't show my standings that I want to put on screen right as we speak. So
Yeah, StreamYard has been very bad. Sometimes the signal, it just says signal is bad. You find you're the only one in the house. Nobody's using the internet, and you're like, what's going on?
I don't know why it's doing this when you know what? The time that I figure everything's set up okay, there we go. There we go. Okay. All right, let me do this. Boom. Let me do that. Beautiful. And let me do that. We're cooking. We're cooking right now. We're cooking with gas. No, yeah, we're cooking with gas. Michael in the building. Sorry I missed the start of the stream, Vader, mate. I was on for the 9320 podcast stream. Looking forward to another great stream, Vader, mate, from Dublin Blue. You know what it is when Michael's in the building. That's when it officially starts. No disrespect to any else. No disrespect to you guys in the chat, but you know what it is. Beat goes yo yo yo. You know what it is. I say yo. Now you see this. We got to start with the standings here. We got to start with the standings. It is 28 games have played. It's week 28. We're a game in hand. But nonetheless, we're going to go through the proper standings. Let me also take this off screen so that we do things proper here as well. The 13 goals in 2 games, we will address that. Trust me, we will address that. But we're going to deal with the standings. We're going to deal with last week review. And many of you, I hope you remember some of the talking points that True City Fan had, that I had. If you can also remember what Gun DeLorean may have mentioned and Martin. But we're gonna address all of those, as well as what you guys mentioned in the comments. But we're gonna go through the standings, the game review, and I hate to say this, there's no week preview. There's no week preview. There's no week expectations. There's nothing to be set. So we're gonna look at things a little differently. We're actually gonna just really dive in, look at things with regards to this post week. And what I mentioned on the thumbnail or on Twitter, if you guys caught it, was this damn international break. We're going to deal with the international break and what it means to us and our rivals. But let's look at the standings. And if you look at way at the bottom, right there at the bottom, real low, you see Chelsea. You see Chelsea at the bottom. Many at this time of the year would be surprised by it, would be surprised to see Chelsea having spent millions and millions on the squad to be 10th right now. I hear some shameless City fans. Sorry, how am I saying that? Some shameless Chelsea fans say that they're just looking to get 41 points. They're just looking to not get relegated. Look how they've fallen. Look how they've crumbled. Look at this. So let me click on Chelsea real quick, and then behind me you can see their last few games, and we're going to deal with the important games this past week. We talked about their result against Leicester City last week because obviously we had the show on the 12th last time, but they won 3-1. This week, all that they had was Champions League. Oh, actually, did they? No, Champions League was last week as well. All they had this week was Everton. Oh my gosh. All they had to focus on was Everton. And what did they end up doing? 2-2. 2-2. Patrick, I'm going to throw this to you. I got to be honest, my friend. I don't watch Tottenham games. I really don't watch Chelsea games. Did you happen to watch this? I only watched the extended highlights. Do you happen to watch this game?
Yeah, I watched both games. Unfortunately, just for sake of agendas, because when you an agenda merchant like me on Twitter, you have to watch the games to make sure that when you throw a jab and people come at you, you know which points to come back with. It's a shame, man. Both Tottenham and Chelsea, they had the opportunity to close off the games. Especially Tottenham. They thought that they had closed the game. The game was done. The dub was in the bag.
Don't go so far ahead. Let's not talk about. We'll get to Tottenham.
Oh, okay. So we're on
yeah,
Chelsea. Yeah, same as Chelsea. But Everton found a way. Everton found a way. The same way Burnley used to find a way back in the days when they're playing everybody, when they're playing us or anybody, where you would be beating them, but they'll find a way to get a draw or find a way to beat you. To be honest with you, I don't get this Chelsea team. it's not like it's got a bunch of bums playing in the team. No, it's actually ballers. It's actually players that everybody wanted one at a point in time. City fans wanted Koulibaly. A lot of people wanted Koulibaly, even though he was 28, 29, 30.
Mm,
People were still calling for him. You have my man Enzo Fernandez. Um, Fofana, everybody wanted him. Very quick centre back, potential centre back. Kai Havertz was wanted by many when he was playing Force 9 in Germany. Superb. It's just I don't get it. Joao Felix, you know yourself the story for City and Joao Felix. We wanted to pay for him and then for him to
yeah.
stay at Benfica. And when Sane is gone, we wanted him to come to City, but he decided to go to Atletico Madrid. So if you look at that team, it's a team, man, and you can't sit there and say, "Oh, they don't have anybody."
No, you
Kovacic,
can't
man,
say that.
you know how I rate Kovacic, and you've seen Kovacic play against City. Even though we slapped them, Kovacic was press resistant, very good player.
He was
A lot of
dangerous.
people
Yeah,
have wanted him, yeah, very pivotal during that World Cup run with his
he was
country.
composed. He was
Yeah, very
calm. Yeah,
composed.
yeah.
He is, he is. I think if we manage to swindle him, if for free or for a cheap price when Gundogan maybe leaves, I think it will be a genius idea. So
Mm.
these are players, man, and this James, man, Cucurella, you know how some of us were
There's too
hyping
much
Cucurella.
quality on this
Like
team. I
this is
agree.
quality. Like Kepa,
Everywhere
Kepa
you
was,
look.
yeah, Kepa was the next big thing in Spain. Even though he's had a good season this season, to be honest,
Hmm.
he's had few games that are bad, but he's had a very good season. So we're not talking about bums here. We're talking about players. So
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening to this team, and I think it's not on Porter. I don't blame
Mm.
Porter for all this stuff. He's been given a team that doesn't belong to him. Some of the players belong to Lampard. Some of the players belong to Thomas Tuchel. Like these are players that are just mixed around.
Hmm.
So I just don't know. But it's a shame to see Chelsea going down this path. But I think this
Is it
is
a
all
shame
desire.
though? Is it a
No,
shame
it's
though?
no. It's not like I'm not enjoying it. I'm enjoying the
Oh,
downfall
okay.
because after the Champions League, they were speaking a bit too much and they were speaking with
Yeah.
chest.
Too
But
much.
to be honest with you, I'm just surprised, and I never wanted Potter to end up in a situation like this because I rated him when he was at Brighton. I could see that there's somebody in this thing. Even Pep said this guy might be one of the best English tacticians I've ever seen in the modern
It's
generation. He hyped him multiple times. It's
true
just
City fan.
unfair that he's gone to a place where I think it's a place where most people's careers die, unfortunately.
I agree. I agree, Patrick. I gotta agree with you 100%. It's gone to the point that you now feel bad for Potter. It's not the city. It's not the fact that he went over there, right? He didn't. He left Brighton. We get it. But the fact that he went to Chelsea, you now feel bad for him with this opportunity because he's not gonna. They're not gonna do him right. He's not gonna be done right by for him at getting that chance. They don't appreciate him. They don't rate him. He's been given these players crazy spending, and they have no tolerance for him. I think the players, the quality that we want to talk about, Beep actually wants to point out and says they ain't got the minerals. They ain't got the minerals. They don't have it. And could you question whether Potter does? I think so. I think the quality that he's shown prior to coming to Chelsea, he deserves a call up, but he went to the wrong club. The call up for the big club Chelsea was the wrong club. Beep also goes to say, "Give us back our Champ League trophy." I hear you on that one. I still hate the result of that. I hate the result of that, but
It
learn
belongs
from
to
it.
them though. Anyway, at
Yeah,
the end of the
they
day,
yeah.
yeah.
You get it how you get it, but it's gonna make us better. It has made us better. Don't doubt that. Blue Heart also goes, I like Potter too, but it could be that he isn't so good at managing superstar players. You know what? If he's given the authority, if they know that everything stops with Potter, he has the final say, players will fix up. Players will listen. I don't know if it's necessarily a matter of whether he can manage superstars. He's the manager at the end of the day. And yes, these are some big names, but Blue Heart, I think it's just the culture. I think it's just the culture at Chelsea. They've been so accustomed to really only answering to an owner that manager wise, we've seen really good managers come and go from there. Adam in the building, he goes, "Sorry, Vader, I will be in the comment section. I'm relaxing my right leg after last week. I have been on crutches for some weeks." Yo, speedy recovery, Adam. I know. I think that was a result of you playing some football, but Yeah, rest up, elevate, ice on, rest, ice again. Make sure you have a good cycle. Don't keep that ice pack on too long to keep the swelling down. Blue also goes, I don't feel bad for Potter at all. He knew what he was getting. Really? Blue, I don't know about that, man. Potter was done dirty, man. I think Potter was done dirty. It's really the Chelsea fans you should be directing this. I don't feel bad for type energy, or you have it for both. Maybe you have it for both. I could be wrong, but here at CIA, we're going to make sure that we present the intelligent reasons why City are where they are in terms of the rest of the competition, and why the competition are where they're at. And Chelsea, 10th in the standings, and they've been 10th for a while. They've been 10th for a minute now. There's no signs of them coming out of it with the amazing quality that you see here behind me on the screen. Look at that amazing quality all over that pitch. Let me move here. But they've got quality everywhere. Them at 10th, players minerals that was mentioned earlier. Adam goes, the Chelsea players have to take some blame. I think they have to take the majority of the blame. Look, they're star-studded. They've been playing ever since they were youths, small. They know how to play ball. It's effort. It's listening to their manager, and I don't think their managers really put them in some positions not to have success. I think they follow his instructions that he's proven to have good ones, and they win. Players need to fix up, in my opinion. Too much damn quality over there. But let's put this on screen real quick. Let me go back. So we had the fixture list, and they drew. They drew against Everton, and Sean Dyche continues to do his thing over at Everton. I mean, the 1 point helps them a little bit, but Everton are going to be fighting. They're going to be fighting. And where are they right now? Everton are 26 points, so they're not safe. But to get a result versus Chelsea, and Chelsea should have won that game. I think if we go back to the predictions, I think we would have said Chelsea's winning this game. I know Everton's fighting for their lives, but Chelsea should have won that game. Let me click on what's next for Chelsea. Coming back from the international break. All right. Some will play April 1st, some will play April 2nd. Let me put this on screen. I think you can see it. Chelsea come back from the international break, and they play Aston Villa. I'm saying 3 points. Aston Villa.
Points to who?
Aston Villa.
Oh yeah, I was wondering. I thought you were about to say Chelsea because Aston Villa have been on a run. They have been smoking teams a bit.
No, sorry. I'm saying Chelsea beats Aston Villa. Are you saying Aston Villa?
I think Villa will cause them trouble, and Villa look hungry and they look on it. Did you see them in the last game? They look on it.
Yes, they do.
I don't know. I just think like Villa will be difficult.
Let's remind everyone, because I do this week to week. So Chelsea are currently have played 27 games, 10 wins, and they have I moved it too fast. 10 wins, 8 draws, 9 losses. All right. They play Aston Villa when they come back from the international break, and Aston Villa have played 27 as well. So they both have games in hand. 11 wins for Aston Villa, 5 draws, and 11 losses. They gotta fix that. Too many losses. But that is going to be a huge game when they come back.
So Villa is right behind them, isn't it?
Right behind them, yeah.
This is
they're tied on points
for the mid-table,
It's huge. They're tied on points. That is absolutely huge. And I would ignorantly say, because I haven't done my homework, but I would assume that more players from Chelsea will be going on international break. They'll have international duties. So it'll be interesting to see how they come back. This international break, and it's going to be an ongoing theme as we talk today, but I hate the timing of it. I'm gonna wait until we actually dive into the timing of this international break as it relates to City. But I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I missed some comments, so I'm going to go back to this real quick. Blue Heart goes, have Chelsea built a team or just a bunch of stars with their own agendas? PSG can't get the best out of their megastars. Good point. I think Todd Bowley has probably said, you know what? I want this quality out here. I want that quality player by position. I'm going to trust my manager to make it work. I think that's what he went out to do. Will it pan off? Will it pay out? Don't know. Adam in the building goes, some of the chances they're getting in front of goal, they should be putting them away back at the back of the net. 100%. I'm not going to talk about any former players that happen to be out front because I think that's the last actually goal or spark that goal with regards to them having having their result in Champions League, but they can't finish. And we've said this, and it's not an agenda. It's actually, there's so much truth to it. Strikers go to Chelsea and wither. Recent history, if you're a successful striker, do not go to Chelsea. You're not gonna break that curse. You're not. Managers go there to die, and strikers go there to die. Trust me. Sorry, Potter. Yates in the building goes, really hope Everton stay up. It'd be nice. I like the talking point that Everton have, having not gotten relegated. I think that's good. Keep that tradition going. Virtual in the building. He goes, do you think the title's over now? Wait, what do you mean? What title?
It's talking about
The Premier
title.
League. The Premier League title with 11 games left to play. Is that what you're saying? Nah, virtual. You got to chill. You got to relax. Blue Heart goes, not yet, virtual. I agree. FIFA in the building says evening. Start Carson versus Blade. Stop it, man. Stop it. Big Morgan in the building. Late, but here. Morgan, you could be late, but you're always on time, my friend. Relax. It's all good. It's all good. Big Morgan, what about Drogba? Drogba? Not so recent, but I hear you. Drogba quality. But
Yeah, I
even
think we're talking
Drogba.
about Morata, Pato.
Ooh,
We're talking about
Morata
players
was
like
terrible.
Lukaku. You know what I mean? Like these are people who, like Pato. I don't even know why they brought him. Let's not forget they even brought Higuain. The list goes on.
It's a crazy list. And Drogba did his thing, but really, if you think about it, after Drogba, what are we saying?
It was Costa before they chased him out.
Yeah, but even Costa, what did he have? Like 2 seasons? He didn't really kill it like that. So, and when he was ready to go, he was ready to go too. FIFA in the building goes, easy dub versus Blades. Okay, all right, relax. 8 goals incoming. Is that what you're saying? Okay, we'll get to it. So we dealt with Chelsea. Them coming out of the international break, they're going to play Aston Villa. Patrick is stressing. Aston Villa, they're gonna handle business against Chelsea. I can see that being a very risky game for Chelsea, just because I think they're going to have more players coming back for international duty. But we'll get a chance to address that in the upcoming weeks as we learn how some of these players are performing. Hopefully, everyone that's knocking on my desk that's made out of wood, everyone comes back healthy. But we'll get back into that. Oh, let me click on this. Let's go back to the standings. And next, after Chelsea, Fulham, not quite a threat yet. Here at the CIA, we haven't categorized them. You see here, threats, targets, and missions. Right now, Fulham, they're not on the threats list. They're not targets yet. Brentford, I didn't mean to click on that. Brentford again, Brentford, they're not threats. They're not targets, but we're keeping an eye on them. Brighton, Brighton's looking promising as well. Look at these. All 3 of these teams, all ahead of Chelsea. They're dangerous. All right, we're keeping our eye out. We're gathering some intelligence on them. But now, ranked 6th with the season that they are having is Liverpool. And let me tell you real quick. Actually, should I slide this over? I think I should. 1 sec. Go to this. And let me move it. The magic of editing. Maybe I'll do it like that. Yeah. All right. So on screen, you see that we got Liverpool. We got to discuss Liverpool. Currently ranked 6th. They've played 26 games, so they have 2 games in hand. Why do they have so many games in hand? I don't know why. But Liverpool ranks 6th, and they have played 26 games. They have 12 wins, 6 draws, 8 losses. 42 points within the league right now. So they're relegation safe, right? They're relegation safe. 42 points. I think every Liverpool fan would tell you that they're disappointed with their season. Last season, well, they were playing in the most games, right? They were competing for everything. They happened to win the Carabao Cup, and many of their players said what they say, one of four, right? They're going to win it all. But to go from that season to this season, and really, when you really think about it, they lost Mane, they lost Origi. Is the drop off? Hear me out. Is the drop off from quad pursuit last season acceptable with what they're not competing for this season? They're not competing for anything. They're competing for top four. All right. They're doing Arsene Wenger late Arsene Wenger compete for a top four type movements. That's what they're doing this season. Crazy drop off when you really deep it. Crazy drop off. But Liverpool this past week, on March 15th, they played against Real Madrid. And I remember having the CIA agents here, right? I remember talking with Gundo. I remember talking with True City Fan. I remember talking with the Mancunian Way. And I'm gonna bring my man Clinical in the building, another CIA in the building. Gundo said that tie is done. He didn't mince words. He wasn't polite. He just said that is done. And this is what I'm going to spend the bulk of the time having to talk about this, because a couple things I found really interesting. Gundo said the tie was done. They obviously got slapped 5-2 at home on the first leg. Liverpool took the lead 2-0. And then they got 5 unanswered against them. Absolutely insane. But the reason why I want to dive into this is because Gundo said this tie was over. I think Patrick said the same. I think Clinical was in the comments and said it. But I understand it's going to take something monumentous to tie up the second leg, or to get a result to maybe force penalty shots for that nature. But we've seen Liverpool do this before. Saw them do it against Barcelona, members of La Liga. We saw them do that. But it's the lack of fight. And I'm going to throw this to you, True City Fan, and then Clinical. It's the lack of fight that I saw from the manager and the fan base, let alone the players. There was absolutely no fight. There was like acceptance that it's not happening. I found it so off-brand for many Liverpool content creators and people in the spaces that I happen to know. But I also thought it was crazy off-brand for the club. Patrick, what did you think when you saw their performance against Real Madrid for that second leg?
Man, to be honest with you, I know some people, especially the media, were trying to hype Liverpool that there's magic in them, they can do it. Obviously, they love Liverpool and they would like to see a comeback. Sometimes they overhype English teams, but at the end of the day, you know yourself, Liverpool players knew deep down. They knew deep down in their hearts that this is done, but they just wanted to show a bit of like that at the beginning. They wanted to show a bit of like, at least we threw something at it. But if they wanted to throw something at it, that second half they could have gone full on. Some people say, somebody said that he was willing for them to be slapped 5-0, but at least they should have shown more than what they did. I think
Mm-hmm.
the Liverpool players did not want to do that. I think they knew that yes, we can go toe to toe, we might get lucky, but we don't really want to get smoked again. You get what I mean? To be honest with you, they knew. Klopp knew, the players knew. Salah has been asking for revenge for 500 years now, saying he's going to get the revenge. He's going to get revenge from from Madrid. They haven't got any revenge since Salah started talking. Maybe he should shush for a few minutes. And I hear that he's also planning on going to Spain. I'm pretty sure he's going to Madrid. But look, at the end of the day, their time things are not well for Liverpool. And big up to my man Hugo. I don't know if you know him. He used to be on my channel,
Mm-hmm.
one of the guys, and sometimes he comes once in a while. He said Liverpool are finished at the beginning of the season, and me and Carl during that episode said, "What?" It's like Liverpool are done. Van Dijk, when he comes back, he won't be the same player. Liverpool will struggle and the suffering would be surprising to many. And that's what he said to us.
Wow.
Guess what? He was right, and he's the first guy who said it. And I'm gonna clip him because I'm gonna clip it. It was really at the beginning of this season. He came out with this statement saying Liverpool are done. They're not gonna be a competition anymore. So look, man, you're right. There was no fight, but what would have they fight against? You're away at Madrid and 5-2. Veta, what are you fighting against? I think the only fight we could have seen is if maybe they were at were at Anfield for the second leg. But when
Nah,
you're
man.
away,
No, I disagree. I disagree, and I'm gonna throw this at clinical. I know there was no fight, no passion though. And I'm not saying that they needed to go and just play open football and expose them to give up goals. I'm not saying that. But the same way that they were able to score the two early at home, you did not see that energy at all. I tuned in. I made sure I watched that game from kickoff. They did not show any type of we're going to try to get this goal early and put them under pressure. It was way too let's not get embarrassed type energy. And I was hearing the same thing from their fan base. They just didn't want to get embarrassed, and is that what Liverpool is? Not to get embarrassed. Clinical. What did you think of this matchup, the second leg?
Well, first of all, big up both of you guys and big up
Yo,
everyone in the chat.
large up,
and
Clinical.
thank you,
Always,
BM.
always. Now, if you remember 2, 3 seasons ago, this Liverpool side would always be labeled as mentality monsters. And
Speak
that
on it.
performance that we saw had nothing to do with the term mentality monsters.
Speak on it.
And I agree with what Patrick said about if this was at Anfield, we might have seen a different Liverpool because this Liverpool team is not the same away as they are at home. Similar to Barcelona, the Barcelona game. If they had lost that first leg at Anfield, I don't think they would have made that comeback. But they were under similar circumstances, down 3 goals, and they made it 4-0 because it was at Anfield. The crowd was behind them and they pushed them on. But I'm not sure if you saw the press conference before that second leg. What told me that they would not be coming back into this tie was when Klopp himself said the tie is over. We're gonna go and we're gonna give it a go because it's a game we
Oh
have to play.
my
But he
gosh, I did
said the
not see
tie is
that.
over. As a
That
manager,
is
you
unacceptable.
cannot do that. He just gave up.
This is the guy that said, I'm going to turn them, what is it? I'm going to turn the non believers into believers. And then going into a game, he says, this tie's over. It's, I didn't get it. And the thing is, I'll be real with you. It's become a cliche. Like they say that the club moves or the players kind of like move the way the manager moves, right? The manager or coach's mentality spills over to the players. Based off of what you just said, because I didn't see that press conference, that mentality, that manager's energy not only spilled over into the players, because I watched the game. I did not see any type of fight. I did not see any, let's try and catch one or two quick goals and put them under pressure, have them try to think this through. And on top of that, some of their most big chested, do bench press every other day type fans had the smallest chest. They had the weakest voice going at the end of this game. And I want to shout out Blue Heart. He goes, Liverpool threw in the towel after the first leg. That's what gets the fans angry. Blue Heart, the fans weren't even angry anymore. I kid you not. The fans had just accepted that this is it. Michael agrees. He said Liverpool threw in the towel. Dr. Footy goes, it's because Klopp shares the same sentimentality with the fan base that they hold onto players for far too long. Milner, Keita, Firmino, Gomez should have been moved on. I hear you. That's a big criticism. That's a big differentiator between Klopp and Pep, because Pep looks at the production in training as well as on the pitch in competition. And he's looking for that synergies, that consistency. If it tends to fall off, and if again, Pep's not doing all of this on his own, it's also the board that's saying, you know what, you got to look to move on. And then it's recognizing that you're going to have some growing pains with somebody new. It's too easy. A lot of us, it's human nature to be accustomed to consistency, familiarity, right? We like things that are calm, that we can understand and close our eyes and know where they are exactly there. That's easy. That's comfortable. Klopp likes that comfort, and it prevents him from being that next level manager, in my opinion. Blue Heart, cheers, Michael. Respects. He respects on the comment. And Big Morgan goes, Klopp told all his fans to book tickets for a final after defeat last year. Big Morgan,
I think that was
that's a mic
emotion.
drop.
I think that was emotion.
But speak on an emotional manager though. And an emotional manager is not sustainable because emotions go like this, right? You don't emotions. You can't build things long term for emotion. Emotion burns out really quickly. As for you young in the comments, you'll realize like lust and crushes, those things burn out, right? Those things burn out. And Klopp with this raw energy, book the ticket, we're going back to Istanbul. Forget this. Terrible. Sorry. Blue Heart goes, he tempted fate. He did tempt fate. But like Klopp, and going back to this, here at Cite, Intelligent Agendas, CIA for short. Klopp, manager energy, manager mentality, that spills, right? It spills, goes on to the players, goes on to the fan base. Klopp said, book your ticket, we're going back to the final. Salah has often said revenge settings. I want revenge settings.
Yeah.
They both fall short. All right, let me look. Liverpool, so they played Real Madrid on the 15th. They lost 1-0. That game was dull, boring, absolutely no fight from Liverpool. And many of the fan base that, like I said, that are big chested, benching 250, 12 reps, looked like they could barely do a push-up the way they were talking post-match. And then I want to point out on the 11th, they played Bournemouth and took another loss. So these are 2 losses that they took. These are 2 losses, and they're going into the international break with just losses. 2 losses, and they got to ponder. They got to wait and sit on this. That's a terrible feeling. That's terrible energy. No player wants this type of break after a loss. After a loss, like when United got slapped at 7, when United got slapped up at that 7 by Liverpool, what did all United fans say? Players as well as manager as well as the fan base. Let's get another game. Let's get that next game, right? Because you want that terrible taste out of your mouth, right? Another game and a win is like mouthwash after you've had something terrible to eat. That's what United had with that 7. They want to slap the bad taste out of their mouth after getting slapped with that 7, and another game did just that. Now, Liverpool, they're going to have to simmer. They're going to have to wait on this one. They come back, and I hate this. We're going to talk about it when we get to City, but they come back April 1st, and they play us. They play us after this international break. All right? It's at home. Liverpool play City at home April 1st. I know I'm blocking it, but that's the game. So we'll deal with that. Let me go to the comments real quick before we move on. Dr. Footy goes, for Trent, it's one thing. For Trent, it's one thing not defending well, but not defending well, but not to be good going forward, which is what painted over his defensive cracks, shows he should be dropped. If Trent is not effective going forward, Dr. Footy, I agree with you. He needs to be dropped. If he's not giving you anything moving forward, why keep him on the pitch? Because he is liable defensively. He's been covered with what Henderson's role has been, and obviously Klopp being the manager that he is, he's adjusted the system to really get the most of Trent and maybe prevent, cover up, minimize some of his weaknesses. But that's kind of changing, man. If Trent's not doing his thing on offense, spraying those balls with accuracy and becoming a scoring threat, he needs to sit. I agree. Blue points out, book the hotel for Istanbul. I hear you, man. I remember that. That's shameful. Blue Heart goes, no, don't say that, Blue. Oh, damn. Hold on. Did I read that? Sorry. Are you saying that in relation to City?
Yeah, he's saying that too. No, don't say that. No, no,
Oh,
no, no,
okay.
not
Calm
join
down.
that.
See, Blue, I've had to do this recently, whether it's been on True City Fans channel or the Mancunian Way. We gotta calm down. We gotta calm down. There's a lot of games played. Let's just deal with the game that's in front of us. Let's be confident, no doubt. Let's be confident, but let's just chill with the projecting the future and all that stuff. We just got to deal with what's in front of us. And we've been doing such a great job of it. I don't even know. I don't even know because we're not on the City part right now. But we've got an amazing win streak developing. We got an amazing clean sheet going. So let's relax. Let's relax. And I hear you. I hear Blue Heart goes, yeah. Don't say that. I agree. Dr. Footy goes, I have to defend Klopp on his book the hotel comment. It was a pick me up for the fans to say we will go again. And when we lost to Chelsea, Pep said we will be back and try again. Yeah, but that's very different. That's very different. Dr. Footy, Pep said we will be back. We will be back and we will try again. Huh. Pep did not say book it. He did not say book it. We're in that final next year. He said, no, we're going to reset and we're going to put in the same effort, the same attention to detail,
He
the
said
same
we'll be there.
focus, and we're going back. He said, we will be back. Klopp said, now book it. We're going back. That's what he said. And again, emotional, man. Klopp's too emotional, in my
Yeah, he
opinion.
had a very emotional interview, I remember, and he was arguing with, he was answering the
Yeah,
report very badly. I remember
he
that
was,
time.
yeah, he was snippy with the reporters, right? He was snippy with the reporters. He was caught in his feelings, and that's not a good sign. Blue Heart goes, let's hope we make fools out of them. That game's going to be critical. I hate this international break, but we're going to talk about it. Blue goes, nah, bro, I never do that. It's Klopp I'm on about. Yes, okay, cool. Blue was, he corrected him, or not corrected himself, he just clarified. He said, nah, he was addressing Klopp. He wasn't doing anything projecting wise with regards to City and the finals. Blue Heart goes, some people would say that Liverpool have been found out. I tend to think they could be right. Blue Heart, you and them, or they, whoever's been saying it, are absolutely right. Klopp he really has one way of playing, and it's about the quality of the players to run that system. Not to say that he needs worldies. He doesn't need world class players by position, but he does need those players with the skill set, with the work rate to really deliver. That's why he trusts in like the Hendersons and the Milners. Like it's more so with how he wants them to really execute his instructions as opposed to really the quality of the player, if that makes any sense. Sorry for the
There
noise.
was nothing ever tactical about them, wasn't it? It was
It
about
wasn't. It was
speed. It was about people who can run, energy, people who can press. So basically, it was about three workhorses in midfield, which was
mhm.
Genie, Fabinho, Henderson. They'll win the ball early for Salah, Mane, and it was up to Mane, Salah, Firmino that time. They could press. They had the legs. It was about pressing from the front, so you don't
Yeah.
get to the high line. Now the issue is
Yes.
that's gone right now. So you can get to the high line now. You get what I mean? So they're getting exposed. That's
Exactly right.
simply Klopp's football. That was what it is. It's
Exactly
about
right.
muscle and run. That's why people are laughing at Mason Mount going to
Going
Liverpool.
to Liverpool.
Corner Gallagher, Mason Mount is exactly what Klopp is looking
Yeah, you're exactly right. And it's about like it's going to be a little ironic because we know there's a lot of whispers with regards to Liverpool and their inhalers, but Liverpool would not let you breathe. They would literally be running the entire time when most teams would be tired, hunched over, hands on their knees, trying to catch a breath. Liverpool would still be running, catch their second wind. And it was that type of suffocating press and relentless energy that they were getting results. And like Patrick said, True City fan said, when they no longer had the bodies to do it, it then exposed Klopp's one way of playing, high line, defensively, and they got exposed. Um, where we got here. Oh, Dr. Footy goes, please let's silently sneak to Istanbul UCA final. Yep, silent. We ain't talking about it just yet. One game at a time. You know what I'm saying? One game at a time. Blue Heart. There you go. Dr. Footy goes, difference between Pep and Klopp. Pep always tweaks the tactics and formation, so he will never be fully found out. You, Dr. Footy, you're spot on. There's been a few shows, and it's been on my channel, it's been on True City Fans channel, and it's also been on Pitch Points. We're like, why is Pep tinkering? Why is Pep doing this formation, right? It's because he's kind of seen how he can be countered before he's countered at times, and he's already testing it. It's wild. It's kind of crazy. Most managers will be like, you know what? I'm gonna do it until I'm found out. If it ain't broke, I ain't fixing it. I'm just gonna keep doing it, and then when it gets fixed, I'm gonna change it up. Pep's already like, I can already see how this can be countered. Let me start working on that counter. The counter. It's it's what makes him the mad genius. What makes him the mad scientist. Michael goes, Liverpool went mad when they beat us in the Community Shield. Never do that after one game. I was at Villa Park when we beat Chelsea in the Community Shield. We had a poor season that season. Great point. Great point. The fact that Michael's been there, he's kind of seen it and he's seen firsthand. You know what? You don't over celebrate a Community Shield. You don't take that for, you know, for winning, for really winning a cup. You got to be calm, humble about it. Sorry for the background noise. You can hear my daughter
Big
playing
up
with
to
my
you,
son.
Michael. How you doing, Michael, my friend? How you doing?
Yeah, Michael, let us know in the comments how you doing, man. Good to have you. Always appreciate the comments. Absolutely, Dr. Footy. Pep never stands still tactically. You're right. You're right. Dr. Footy also goes, Liverpool's workhorses could only give 110% every game for years. Oh, for years, for so long. You're right. It had to come to an end, and that's why you refresh the squad. The problem is he couldn't refresh the squad because he didn't have the trust in the players to maybe try to bring up along. He relied on such a tried and true 11 game after game after game that that type of effort and the fact that they were going so hard for so many years, to your point, it shortens their career. And I think prospect players, potential players for Liverpool are kind of they're seeing this. They're seeing this. Sorry, way too loud. Blue goes inhalers. Exactly. Exactly. They wouldn't let their opponents breathe. Meanwhile, they had their chance. All right, let me do this. Oh, and I forgot to do this. Let me do this real quick.
Vader, Vader, Vader game.
Now. We gotta go. We gotta go and look at the next team up. Gotta look at the next team up. And after Liverpool, we got Newcastle. Newcastle, they are a threat. Don't get me wrong. We're gonna talk about them. We won't go in crazy depth about them. But Newcastle, 26 games played, so they got 2 games in hand. 12 wins, 11 draws. Way too many draws. I think every fan base for Newcastle would clearly tell you that they're not happy with the amount of draws that they have. But they would definitely rather a draw than a loss. And they only have 3 losses. All right, they are very good defensively. I think they need to find a little creativity with regards to scoring goals. But it's better to be one of the teams that don't concede very much. With regards to this past week, they played March 17th. Okay, they played March 17th against Nottingham Forest. They broke the draw curse, right? The number of draws and losses they were getting, they broke it. 2-1 win against Nottingham Forest. When you look at what they're hoping to do, I think Newcastle, to be real with you, if we go back to the standings, I think Newcastle are really hoping to, at the very least, be top 5. And correct me if I'm wrong, True City fan or clinical, but is it next season that they actually take into account that 5 can qualify for Champions League? Is that next season?
I don't know if it's next season. Maybe it is. I don't know. When is it? I don't know if it's next season or after, but eventually. But Newcastle also looking. The fans are looking to get top 4.
Yeah.
Line there. They look like they want to get top 4. I think the reason why they don't get top 4 is I was just having obviously I was just trying to troll them. They were talking about the fact that this article that came out that Pep is after Bruno Guimaraes from Newcastle. He's interested in him as a player, and they want to throw in Phillips. They've been throwing Phillips everywhere. They want to throw him to West Ham. But I was just saying to the guys, because the Newcastle guy was one of the guy, John Sinclair, I like talking to him, was saying, I don't think Bruno would leave. He loves this place and his child was born here. So I gave him a warning. I was like, man, you have to be careful, especially when you're dealing with big boys these days. It doesn't matter if somebody's child is born here or they've got a farm. They still leave if they want Champions League football, So it might happen that Newcastle is trying to maybe get into top four, because they also know that some of the caliber of the players they have, like Bruno Guimaraes, like Isaac, are looking to play the Champions League. That's why they're there. So I hope they do, though, because the next matches are also difficult, but I think they're winnable, and I think they can make it because it's not like United pulling up trees.
Yeah. I think even going back to when we look at them at a threat level, and Dr. Footy goes, Newcastle aren't a massive threat yet. They're too busy copying City's homework. And again, no, not to be mad at that. If you've seen a very good blueprint, why reinvent the wheel? Why do something new? You've seen the success that City's had. If you can mirror it, if you can copy it to a certain degree, more power to you. So I think they're going to be looking for those early cups to win, as well as trying to be in the top four, and them pushing for top four. Martin, thanks for being on the show, man. I'm gonna throw this to you real quick. Them being top four, we can see that they're at 47 points. Tottenham at 49 points, and we've all heard the comments from Conte with regards to Tottenham. So Newcastle have to be biting at the bit to get into that top four spot. What do you think, Martin, with regards to Newcastle and them making moves for top four? Ooh, I think Martin disagrees with that.
It'd be good for them. I think it'd be too soon for them.
Too soon. Okay, so let me point out that this international break coming up, I think it puts.
And I think a lot of Newcastle fans would probably agree with that, better. Because I've spoken to them and they're like, 2 weeks ago when they were struggling, they said it may be a season too soon.
Okay.
And that's just genuine. When it's like great we've got there, but when you've got there, you then got to bring in the players. You're competing with the big boys then, and can you do 2 games a week? Because it's a very different situation then. I don't know. It's a weird one. It is a weird one.
No, I hear that. Getting mad love in the chat. Dr. Footy goes, not hating on them copying, but change it because our blueprint was over a decade ago and they have to change it a little. You're absolutely right. Yeah. So they're going to take pieces that obviously best apply to them. I think this international break and how it hits and where it comes right now with regards to Newcastle it's going to be an interesting one, because I haven't looked, and maybe we'll do this over the international break with regards to knowing which players got the call up and how they're playing, and hopefully everyone's injury free. But Newcastle come back after this international break and they play against, we can see it, they play against Man U. They play against Manchester United. Big game. So when we go back to the standings and we talk about Newcastle currently 5th, 2 points behind Tottenham and 3 points behind United. Big game here.
Are you ruling everyone else out?
No, I'm talking in terms of the next match, just with regards to the next match that they have.
No, I thought you meant with the top four.
Oh, the top four race is going to be it's going to be fierce. I don't think the point difference between even Brighton and Brentford with regards to Liverpool.
Do you want to do us a favor, Vader? Do you want to just move for a minute? Let me just see.
Yeah.
I was asking you. I think Brighton have got.
Look at that. So wait. So where's United? United has got how many points? 50 points.
United have 50 points.
Then Tottenham
49.
Then
Tottenham 49. Newcastle 47. And Liverpool's coming. Liverpool's going to be doing their thing.
What the hell are they doing there?
So and again, it's going to be so congested. If Newcastle get a result here, it's going to be a fierce battle. Let me take myself off screen, okay? It's going to be such a battle. United at 50 points, Tottenham 49. Let's say Tottenham drop or they continue. Who knows? But Newcastle getting a result against United, that's going to be epic. And I hate this, but we know that Liverpool, and it was in the comments. Sorry, I didn't start. Actually, I did start. Is to talk about when we talk about City, but we know Liverpool are going to do their best to get a result against us. It is going to be a congested fight for that top four. It might be the next best thing to be watching with regards to the league. So
I don't know why I've got a real sneaky feeling for Brighton.
You got okay.
Wait,
I didn't.
Brighton to go in the top 4.
Yeah, that's what
Got
Martin's
3
saying.
games in hands.
Yeah. Let's see who they play. Because again, I didn't put Brighton as one of the threats or targets yet. Right? They're not a threat or target. But let's look at Brighton, who they have to play when they come back. They had an amazing result in the FA Cup, by the way. I know you're gonna say it's Grimsby Town, but 5. They put 5 up. Now they come back. They play Brentford, and when we talk about the congestion, right? Brentford's in that mix. I think Brentford had 42 points. So do Brighton. We would expect a result against Bournemouth. That's who they play next. I know I'm blocking this. Sorry, guys. So we tight game against Brentford. Expect a result against.
Then they've got Tottenham.
Yes.
That's what I mean. The destiny is actually, and you know what, Brighton. Everyone has ignored them, and that Zebra, whatever, he has got them playing.
Yeah.
Real.
Yeah.
I'd still say it's this day. Best teams come to the Etihad all season.
Yes, not mad at that. We see Mr. Roll Up 10 in the building. Newcastle won't succeed just copying City's blueprint. They must find their own way. Yep, and I think they are. They definitely are. We got Cap in the building. Vader, my guy. Respect for being on the show today. Dr. Footy goes, Newcastle gotta get what? They gotta get Eddie. They gotta get a move.
Yeah.
You think Eddie Howe's got to go?
Yeah, I'm with him.
Oh wow!
Eddie Howe is there. Matt Hughes or Pellegrino.
No.
He's the pickup guy. He's the foundation.
He's the
guy.
stopgap.
Yeah.
You're not going to win a league under Eddie Howe.
But he gets a season.
All right then. Question back to you. Newcastle want to get into the Champions League. They want to go and start buying these big players.
Yeah.
How do you move forward with Eddie Howe? No disrespect.
No, you guys are doing too much.
No, but back to what we say is, we know that you look at it this way. Erling Haaland is staying at Manchester City and the release clause is gone because of Pep Guardiola.
Yes, but we can't, Martin. No, hold on. This is CIA. We can't use Pep for anyone else's situation. It's not fair.
No, I'm using it for the big boys. What I'm saying is, if you want to come and play with the big boys, this is what I'm saying. You've got City could have played sentimental and kept Pellegrini and kept Mancini.
So are you in a roundabout way, and we haven't gotten here yet, but are you saying Arteta? Are you saying Potter? Are you saying managers like that, Champions League, aren't going to draw in the big names? Because I put Eddie amongst those managers. I put Eddie amongst those 2 managers.
You put him in Arteta.
He deserves it. This come up gets them to top 4, playing Champions League. He gets 1 season. Because he's got the loyalty with the players. He's got that trust there. I think he gets that 1 season before we say, you know what?
I'm talking Newcastle's ambition. Newcastle have more ambition than Chelsea. No disrespect. I'm talking the long-term vision.
Okay.
No, it's true, Vale. These have not come in to play around. They've come in to do a Manchester City and take us on and go right. Mm-hmm. They're sat there. I've spoken to Newcastle fans, and they've even been linked with. You know this Bruno Guimaraes thing today that got thrown out? Mm-hmm. Swap with Calvin Phillips. Newcastle fans said to me, why would he swap Newcastle for City? Newcastle are already thinking, here we go. we're up there.
Oh yeah, I was having an argument. I don't know if you saw me. Not an argument, but I just made a statement to John Sinclair. I was like, look, whether somebody likes because he said his child is born, he loves Newcastle. I was like, John, you know yourself now. You're dealing with big clubs now. You're becoming one of the big boys. It doesn't matter if somebody loves the place or they have their foot is put. They were given the keys to the city. As soon as Champions League comes in, somebody who has a Champions League
Different
goes to you.
beast.
Yeah, people want to play in the Champions League. Like Bruno Guimaraes, imagine right now if Pep calls him and says, Bruno Guimaraes, you're my guy. And Bruno says, where am I going to play? And then Pep says, well, Phillips is leaving and that's your position. Or so and so, Gundogan is leaving. I'm going to do this with you. Do you think Guimaraes will sit there like, it's okay, I love Newcastle and my child was born here? Martin, I think people don't get it. I think Newcastle fans don't get it. Players, it's about ambition. As soon as, and especially Brazilian players.
Mate, and Pat, I keep saying this. We need to get this out of our heads that Newcastle will be our mates.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Trust me now, Newcastle are part of this agenda who hate us.
Yeah.
And think they're going to overtake us. As I got told by Newcastle fan, we're going to do what you did, but better.
Do you know
Okay,
the
you
funny
know what?
thing, Martin? Do you know who's going to be their backup? I told them before, I told one Newcastle fan, I think me and Carl, we told them on one of the channels, we said, you guys, you keep talking like this towards us. We can be your only backup one day. You come to us one day and look for support from us.
Listen, Eddie Howe's a very good manager, but here's a question for you.
Yeah.
Newcastle United decide, tell you what, let's go and have a Bernardo Silva. Let's go and have even a Neymar, a Kylian Mbappe, for example. You sit down with discussions. Let's have a chat with the manager. Hello, I'm Eddie Howe. You've also had the offer to go to Real Madrid or Manchester City.
Why? But why do we? But I don't want to do that. I want to let's use Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool.
But Newcastle wanting to kick all them out. You've got, this is the point there. Are Newcastle coming to the party and playing, or are they just doing a Tottenham coming for a season and going bye-bye? Newcastle's goal is to kick a Chelsea, a Liverpool, a City, a Tottenham out for good.
Yeah.
They're not coming in for a season to play along and go bye-bye. So I know you're saying, but they've got a Chelsea. No, they want to be beaten. They want to be them out.
I know, but it first starts with you then race to catch, and then you are racing head to head, and then you surpass. I think that Eddie Howe getting top four and the potential players that he could get to come to the club, knowing that they're playing Champions League, is still possible.
But is he going to handle them better? Is he going to? Because this is the thing. I get Martin what he's saying. What happens is this: managers like Eddie Howe come to a team. We've seen it at Wolves, Nuno Espirito. Remember? Then he went to Spurs. These managers, I don't call them small managers. Some of these new school managers who come in.
That's true.
They'll coach a team. They'll look good. Wolves, don't forget Sheffield United. Remember? Then there's this talk of this manager can go far. When big boys come into your club, trust me, okay, let me give you an example, like what Martin says. Mbappe walks into Newcastle. Who's the manager? Mbappe, isn't it? Because it's Eddie Howe who's at the helm. Because, okay, Mbappe walks. Mbappe with his World Cup and all his trophies will look at Eddie Howe, and Eddie Howe will be like, listen to me. And he'll be like, mate, what have you won?
That comment there, Vader's bang on. I know you're going to hate it, but all right then. Okay, then let me throw it back to you, Vader. Pep Guardiola loses his job for whatever reason. Would you take Eddie Howe?
No, I would not take Eddie Howe.
Why?
Because one, Eddie Howe's style.
Speak on it, better. That's a nice one, Martin. Speak on it.
Eddie Howe's style of play. Eddie Howe's style of play is a little too guarded for me. I think he's done amazing things with Newcastle. I think for what he's gotten, that again, for some of the transformations that he's had with some of those players, it's been absolutely amazing.
150 million.
Yeah, he spent money.
But they listen to him because some of the players have never won much and they've done nothing.
Okay, this is what I mean.
No, I get that. But one again, we're spending a little too much time because I did not identify Newcastle as a threat or a target. So we're gonna deal with some of these comments that have come through. And
no, but They've targeted us, Vader.
No, Martin, I agree. I agree. The reason why CIA was brought together is because we know they're all against us. We know every last one of them are against us. We also have a totally different profile with regards to the intelligence that we're gathering, just related strictly with the Red Cartel. So we know that the forces are out there. But how Newcastle are, I know we don't have any friends, and I know that they don't see us as, hey, we're one and the same. We're dealing with the same problems.
Yeah,
No,
we're not bosom buddies.
we're not at all. And I hear all that, and I want to stress this. And see, Sean C, I see you. Would one of the big six clubs consider Eddie Howe as their manager? Think not. I hear you on that. But I would challenge you. Tottenham would look at Eddie Howe. They would. Arsenal, no. Liverpool, no.
Yeah, but you mentioned
United,
Tottenham.
no.
Tottenham, Conte just rinsed them.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna get to that. All right, but Sean C. I
You
see
know
you
what?
in the building.
Martin gave you a good one there. Like I know it's your show, but what Martin did, he gave you a good one because he asked you, "Would you take Eddie Howe?" That's why.
No.
Okay, would PSG take Eddie Howe? Let's even question.
No, but Vader, I put Graham Potter ahead of Eddie Howe.
Oh.
I'll tell you why.
Ooh, that's the conversation.
What's Eddie Howe done before Newcastle? Did he do it? I watched Eddie Howe at Bournemouth.
At Bournemouth, he was quality. He was
No,
quality.
he wasn't.
He brought them up.
And then got him relegated.
Okay, but that's not. I mean, getting them up.
And I understand that, but it's the old thing at Bournemouth. He had
And Martin, correct me if I'm wrong. Martin, correct me if I'm wrong. But was he not brought in to keep Newcastle from getting relegated and succeeded?
Yes. No, that's my point, though, Vader. It's a stepping stone. Newcastle are not. If you honestly, all right then.
We are spending way too much time on
Newcastle.
No.
I'm trying to get Newcastle fans are loving Eddie Howe. I understand that. But if they think Eddie Howe is going to lead them to a title, they are mistaken. They will need to go to another level. It's when, and this is my point about the Champions League. Yes, it's great going there. Right now, they haven't got new sponsors. So, all right, going in. I remember Blackburn Rovers in 1995 coming into the Champions League and thinking, great, here we go. They finished bottom of the group and got embarrassed week in, week out. Leicester won the league, went to the Champions League, got embarrassed. It's great coming into it, but are the Newcastle aren't looking to hit top four, get into it, and then just do one season and come back out. That's all I'm saying, mate. There's a long-term goal behind it.
I have, and again, so my apologies. This is modern day talk, modern day slang. I'll admit I got triggered. I'll admit I got triggered when I hear.
Since I've come,
Wait. Did we finally? Wait. We finally triggered better. My God, Martin, we triggered better. This is rare.
I haven't even mentioned the treble yet.
Yeah, you know, this is rare. Thank you very much, Martin. You've just taught me a way to trigger because I've always tried to trigger better. Better is impossible. Better, by the way, just a message for you. Mr. Gundorian is asking for a hyperlink. I don't know why he's asking for a hyperlink. I don't know if the link is not working. So
let me try. Let me do it via Twitter. Let me see if this works.
What's a hyperlink, by the way? He keeps asking for a hyperlink. What's that?
While you do that, I'm probably
just
arrogant, and I don't mean sound arrogant. Listen, Eddie Howe is a very good manager, but the Champions League, you are talking the elite. And if Newcastle were just coming into it for a year to gain it, like they did under Bobby Robson, under the late, great Sir Bobby Robson. They came into it, they had a year, they came out, and then went back. Then fine, no problem. That isn't what their owners are planning. Their owners are wanting to build a dynasty in Newcastle.
I hear that.
Eddie Howe, to me, is step one. They have yet to get to step two. It's like they've even said about the transfers. They've said that they have a 3 or 4 step progress on transfers. They're now, as they said, they're now moving to phase 2 of the transfer signings. So they're going up a level from Kieran Trippier. Kieran Trippier ain't going to win in no Champions League, mate.
All right, you know what?
Can I just interject?
love-
I have one.
Yes,
more
Clinical,
thing
I
about
need you to
that.
interject because again, this Newcastle segment is taking up way too much time. Interject, please.
So, Martin, are you saying that if they do get top 4 this season, do you think they could sack? Do you think they should sack Eddie Howe, or do you think they will sack Eddie
I
Howe?
think they'll give him part of the season. If he struggles, I think they will. But I think long term he will be sacked.
Okay, I can see that, but I was looking back at his time at Newcastle, and I think it would be very weird for them to decide to turn on him at the start of the season after he's already overperforming right now.
Well, it's
When
not
he took them
turning
over,
on
I
him.
think they were 18th or bottom of
And
the league,
Clinical.
maybe even.
And
And
yes, and Clinical.
he's now
Here's why.
leading them to a top 4 race.
And here's why I got a little triggered is because the man put in the work, the groundwork. He came in, made sure that they weren't relegated. He's done this. He's now gotten them.
150 million.
Yeah. Everyone spends money, but he's gotten them into top 5. He's gotten them. No, stop.
What they did was
No,
Manchester City level.
Martin, I'm trying to put a period at the end of this one so we can move on. But he's gotten them top 5 right now. They have the opportunity. There's the possibility of being top 4. I think with that type of effort, and you see who he's competed against, you've seen some of the results he's gotten to the other teams within the league, right? We can see that he's got a defensive philosophy. He just needs to improve on his scoring and getting goals, right? I think that is why I was like, nah, he gets some top 4. He deserves a season. When I first heard it, I thought you were saying they get top 4, and some of the comments I thought,
No, and then
okay, they get top 4.
And sack him.
Okay.
I'm talking like your Pellegrini. Pellegrini was never sacked. He just came to end his contract.
Mark Hugh
guys.
Mark Hugh was like, okay. Do you want us to move on? What's the next topic? Please make
Yeah.
it.
Move on.
But
Sorry.
I'm making a note of all this. I'm gonna have some counterintelligence points with Pellegrini, because again, we can't use Pellegrini with regards to us and City because Pep was out there. Pep is the unicorn. Pep.
No, Pep was always the long-term goal writer.
I know. So the
when
short.
Mancini came in.
No, I know that. So the fact that Pellegrini's career was short at City because Pep was available, we can't really hold that.
No, but you don't know. Newcastle might have a long-term where they're going in the end. That's
Fair. Okay, so next season, thank you everyone. I know I'm way behind in the comments, but I thank you all. Next week's show, we're definitely going to elevate Newcastle. We're elevating Newcastle to threat level. Okay, they will have their own segment. We're going to be spending some time with regards to the games that they played. Let me do this nice and clean.
Vader game.
All right. Next on the standings, after Newcastle, we've got Tottenham, Spurs. Many of you may be familiar, not looking to trigger any of the Spurs fans in the comments, but some Spursy things have been happening as of late. Tottenham they've played 28 games, 15 wins, 4 draws, 9 losses, and they have 49 points, 1 point behind United. I know I'm blocking that. Let me take myself on screen so you guys can see that clearly. You see how congested it is, Tottenham. I'm going to show you their recent fixtures. Their recent fixtures, and maybe I should take myself off screen here as well. But we're going to look at just yesterday. Just yesterday, they played against Southampton, and Southampton have not been having a great season. They're at the bottom of the standings for a reason. Yes, they've gotten some freakish results. You know what I mean? They have been able to put some games together and gotten some results. But this was they were down 3-1 to Tottenham and came back and tied this up. And not only does Tottenham have this 3-3 draw that happened yesterday, but last week, Saturday, they played against Nottingham Forest. And before that, they had played against in the Champions League and were exited out with a 0-0. They're not showing any proper fight. They're not showing any level of grit. They're not looking to really stamp their desire or want to be top 4. They're kind of like sleepwalking through the season right now. There's no you can't really look at them and say like, okay, yeah, this is Tottenham. This is who they're expected to beat. This is who they're going to give a good fight against. You don't see any of that. And we talked about a little earlier. This top 4 battle is going to be crazy congested. Crazy congested. Let me go to these comments, and I'm going to work my way backwards a little bit. Sorry, guys. But Roll Up goes, Spurs are a joke with no real ambition, not even worth talking about. Now, Roll Up. I know, and this may sound a little controversial, and I know many disagree with me. They think, what is this loser mentality? Trust me, I don't have a loser mentality. But I can look at and understand the case study for Tottenham having no trophy success, having not really smelled anything related to winning, have been able to be within the Big Six, have been able to have a fantastic new stadium, have been able to have increase with regards to fandom, their fan base, without winning a damn trophy. And the reason why that's important, when you hear some of these rivals that want to talk about fan base and they want to talk about history and they want to talk about plastic fans, or they want to talk about glory hunters, Tottenham Spurs have showed you that you can grow a fan base. You can grow a quote unquote a financial successful club without winning a damn thing. So don't let anyone talk you down or talk bad about you as a fan, whether you're a City fan or not, with regards to the club that you love, because you can see that clubs can grow in fandom without winning anything. Anything.
If a club exists, they have history.
Facts. If a club exists, they have history, and if a club has fans that want to be there before the winning, so be it. So be it. Yes, Tottenham hasn't won anything, but their fandom keeps increasing because they have fans that want to be a part of it before they win something.
Can I just give you a start? You're going to...
Yes.
Sorry,
Yeah,
jump in before I just move off camera because my missus wants to go to bed, so I do apologise. I'm coming. No, I'm not leaving. I'm just going to have to swap to my phone. Do you know Tottenham make more money than Arsenal, revenue-wise? Fact.
I believe it. I believe it. I believe it. And
that is shocking. No, do you not find that mind-blowing?
It's amazing.
When you think about that. Tottenham, who have won nothing, less than Arsenal, because I know they've not had a great. Arsenal are top right now, but Tottenham make more money revenue-wise.
Incredible.
That's the difference, because they have an owner who cares about one thing, the bottom line, not trophies.
And he's got the whole of South Korea with him. Very smart. That's the reason why they never let Son go. He's a marketing beast in the Asian part of the country, and that's what he does. He buys. Have you noticed he buys players that they are sort of marketing somewhere where he can market them.
I'm just going to swap right.
Yeah, no problem, Martin. No problem. I want to shout out Blue Heart Eagles. Spurs have been inconsistent for years. I would never bet on Tottenham. They are also far too dependent on Kane and Son. The squad is not that great either. Yeah, it's going to be interesting on what they do. There's a lot of whispers of Kane leaving. There's a lot of questions on whether Son is still that guy. How they rebuild or how they remodel is going to be interesting to see. Remodel is a City thing. Rebuilds are all the opposite clubs. Sean Siegel's Brighton are way better than Spurs. Skip Spurs, Vader. They're lucky they are in London fan-wise. It's a fair point. It's a fair point, and I will look to do that. I got my man Michael in the building. He goes, please tell your fellow Blues about Vader Channel, Vader Games TV, the man Cuneway, and True City Fan, and Carl's channel Pitch Points. Please help out and all of these people doing City content. Thanks, Blues. Michael, I appreciate you taking the time and putting that out there. And again, I see the number of you watching right now. Please match that with regards to likes. I don't check out likes during the show. I don't call it out often, but I see you guys, and I hopefully guys and girls are hitting that like button. I always appreciate it. Spurs just have to accept they aren't a big club in the Big Six. Depends on what we consider big, but I hear you. Blue Heart goes, I think Tottenham will struggle to stay in the top 4 this season. Even top 6 could be a challenge for them. I agree with you. And that's when we look at the standings and we look at how congested it is, right? You got United 50, you got Spurs 49, you got Newcastle 47, Liverpool 42 looking to come up, not against us though. And then you also have Brighton and Brentford. We'll see where that can all mix, right? 11 more games for some to play. Some have more than that. FIFA, appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Thank you. Have a good rest. And we got Cap that says all these teams spend so much and fail, but we are ruining football. Lazy narratives, man. Lazy narratives. It's how it moves, but that's why you're here on this channel, because we're going to have the proper agendas to fight back against those. Blue also goes, I hope Tottenham Broncos win nothing because of Levy. All right. See you roll up. 1 second. Let me do this real quick. Roll up goes, Spurs will not make top 4 after this Conte fiasco. Now let's talk about this Conte fiasco real quick. On why always me, maybe I'll do a proper breakdown with regards to video, but I think the nature of it, and I appreciate this from Conte. As a manager, you don't want to expose your dirty laundry. You don't want to throw your players under the bus. You don't want to throw the organization under the bus. None of that. But he's also come to a point where the frustration is just, it's reached its limit. And again, to have lost that game where they were up 3-1 to then concede to Southampton and get a draw, absolutely unacceptable. So when you have that, and you have Conte's comments, you have to appreciate it for what it is. Clinical, let me throw this to you. Do you think Conte kind of came out with this because he's looking for exit? Or do you think he came out with this because he's really trying to get a reaction out of the players and maybe have the fans maybe put some pressures on the players to demand a result? Because this happened going into the international break. What's your thinking?
So when it was announced that Conte was going to Spurs, I actually thought this was somewhat of a match made in heaven, because we all know them as butlers, and Conte is someone you see with he has this winning mentality that he just carries with him. They call him a serial winner, and I was thinking, if there's anybody that can instill a mentality in this Spurs team, it's this guy. So we all know that Conte doesn't have a long shelf life at the clubs that he goes to. He always signs short-term contracts, so he's basically not held hostage for when he wants to leave. And his contract ends at the end of this season. Now, to see their season turning out like this, and it's not just now his press conference where he's just throwing shots. It's just this one where he's just like letting out the entire barrel, really. So I'd be very surprised to see him stay at Spurs beyond this season and sign a new contract. I think he's done. Watching their cup games that they had recently, how it didn't even seem like they were trying to really get past Sheffield. It just tells me that he's already looking towards his next club, and he doesn't care whether he gets sacked now or if he rides the boat till the end of the season.
Crazy. I mean, and Dr. Footy goes, he mentions that Conte's shown this pattern before. He really talked bad about the club, forced an exit out of Chelsea, and he's saying that it's looking like he's doing the same thing here at Spurs. I'm not mad at it. I think, Conte, quality manager. I know he hasn't had his success with regards to Europe, but him leaving Tottenham, him leaving the league potentially, it doesn't take the competition level a little less threatening with him out of the mix. I am so tight on time right now, and apologies, but we got to go and look at Manchester United. Let's speak on them real quick. They are currently third. I'm gonna have to find more time.
Wait, you're leaving the contest situation for United, seriously?
Well, you think there's more to talk about Conte?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Martin, I haven't said anything on it.
No, I'll be honest with you, mate. No, the only reason it's up to you, it's your show. But the United thing, I've got a lot to say. A lot to say about United.
Okay.
And
Let's move to United.
And their arrogance. So I don't know if you've got time for a bonus show at any point in the week, but I'm telling you now, I have got a lot to cook on United. Considering there's a fanboy who sits in Birmingham thinking he's the Mr. Know-It-All because he's had another pop today. It's your choice, mate. It's your show. But I am ready to
Go to
explode
United,
on
man. Let him cook.
Okay, Martin's fired up. I do want to address this with regards to Conte though, because respectfully, true City fan. Anything you wanted to add? Because I did throw it to clinical, but is there anything you want to add?
Go to United. I want to hear what Martin has to say.
All right. Dr. Footy says, "Leave United, waste of breath." Blue goes, "Let's skip the rags." You know what? Martin's got something to say right here, and I'm going to ask for forgiveness. And we're going to continue the show.
You're being shameless now because you know I've been cooking on this for 3 days.
All right, let's do this proper.
Vader game.
All right. Manchester United, ranked 3rd within this league. They've played 26 games, so they have 2 games in hand. They have 15 wins, 5 draws, 6 losses. They currently are at 50 points, and we talked about how congested it is. We won't revisit that. But United have just recently played today in the FA Cup. So let's put up what their recent history was with regards to games played. United. Was there? Wait, what's going on here? Sorry.
I think people are wanting me to stay quiet later.
No. United, you're good. They're just gonna we're gonna let it bubble up a little bit. So United recently played in the FA Cup against Fulham. That happened today. That's gonna be most recent. We'll deal with that. But prior to that, on Thursday, they played in the Europa League. All right. I know we generally here at City, we don't deal with Thursdays, but in this case, we're going to talk about their result. And it was a 1-0 win over Real Betis, and they won over aggregate 5-1. And last week Sunday, did we cover them? Yeah, we covered them last week Sunday. They actually had a draw against Southampton. Southampton seems to be that team that's pesky. They fight. I think they're showing a lot of grit. They're not getting the results really with regards to wins, so they can move themselves out of that bottom of the league. But they're showing some fight, having gotten a 0-0 draw against United. And Casemiro got a red card in that game. Reckless challenge, off the ground, not in control, deservingly so. I think as a result, he's missing 4 games. But then going into that, they had Champions League. And then today, they had FA Cup quarterfinals. This game, I'm going to fall back. I'm going to have you talk about the game, Martin, as well as the intelligence you want to share with regards to this team as it relates to a threat or its targets.
Let him cook.
Martin, you're on mute if you're speaking.
The game today was quite a simple game. Fulham went 1-0 up, and they basically crumbled mentally. They crumbled mentally. Now, Fulham should have had a couple of penalties, without shadow of a doubt. Shadow of a doubt. Doesn't go to VAR. Again, people can have their own conspiracies about VAR and United and everything else. Fulham were their own worst enemies today. This United team can be quite easily got at. Are they a threat? Yes, especially with their impending takeover. The takeover I have a massive issue with, not regards to who's taking them over, but from the fan base and from the owners, who sit with hypocrisy written all over their face, saying that they've jibed at Manchester City for many, many years. Many, many years. About oil money this, oil money that. And now they're about to get Qatari money. By the way, they have spent 1.31 billion or whatever it is to do nothing, to stand still. Well, in fact, no, not stand still, to go backwards. To go backwards. Spent 1.3 billion to go backwards. They're now third in the league. They've got a manager who is a threat. I'm not going to say United are not a threat upcoming. They are, especially with a takeover. They are absolutely a threat. What I have an issue with is how all of a sudden oil money is okay. Same with Liverpool. Oil money is now okay. The media spin it as though oil money is now okay. I would rather people be honest and just say, we don't like Manchester City, we hate them, blah, blah, blah. And where I get annoyed and where I get really trying, and I've never felt, listen, I've ignored it for many, many years. And people might be saying, Martin, I keep saying this is not for clicks, this is just pure passion. Being a Manchester City fan for 40 years, I'm watching United take the mickey out of me for 25 of those years. Man and boy. Because it has happened. But the simple fact is, because some certain fans have big, massive platforms, and I'll take nothing away from Goldbridge or whatever else, or Stretford Paddock, who have sat there and made a mass amount of wealth and everything else on hard work. Because that's what it is. I don't take away hard work. He's built. But what gets me is that because people have big platforms, it becomes reality. We change the truth. City had a light show because there's no fans, even though it was sold out.
That was the most stupid thing I've ever heard, to be honest.
You know, which gets me. And then today, City get an easy cup draw. City have had easy cup draws. This is coming from a United fan who has clearly not looked at his Carabao Cup run all the way through. Charlton Athletic, no disrespect to them. And all these other teams they've faced. Burnley, again, no disrespect, very hard team. But people in glass houses shouldn't be throwing stones. And when you sit there, I have no problem. Have a fan channel.
Martin, please, can you list the teams we played? I think people should also hear that.
But Manchester, well, that's the point. Manchester City got Liverpool in the Carabao Cup straight after the World Cup. Straight after the World Cup, we got Chelsea and Arsenal in the FA Cup. They are not easy teams. At the time, Arsenal were top. On a Friday night, tough game. City have not run out and just decided we're getting warm balls or a fixed draw that everyone says. It's not our fault Liverpool and Tottenham have failed at other areas or Chelsea have gone out to us. We've beaten them with hard work and with skill and with quality. And it is told that we just suddenly, we have rigged the draw to get Sheffield United. It is an absolute disgrace. One, it is an utter disgrace and disrespectful to Sheffield United, who are currently second in the league on the verge of going to the Premier League, despite all their financial woes. It is utterly disgraceful for Sheffield United to be talked about.
Martin, sorry for cutting you. So basically, these United fans, after they had a very easy Carabao Cup, FA Cup, a few easy ties, they're telling us that we've got an easy tie. So they wanted Sheffield, and they wanted us to get righted. Basically, that's what they wanted.
Or what it was. No, but this one, it's just a warm ball, a light show to cover up empty seats. And do you know what bugs me? Do you know what really bugs me? Again, no issue with goal. I don't know who he is. You know, it's like, you got to remember. I think some of it is a character. But what bugs me more is this guy is given a national platform on TalkSport, a radio station in the UK that is a national radio station. This guy hosts a talking show who publicly makes his feelings quite biased and jealous of City all the way through it. And the thing is, people believe it. The real stories get changed. You get this story of United haven't spent 1.3 billion. It's suddenly, I was listening to another show. Have you ever seen, is it called Last Man Standing?
Yes, yeah.
Is it Bet Victor and whatever it is? And they were talking there, when United get taken over, City will have competition for signings.
I beg your pardon. I'm sorry, I beg your pardon. We have lost signings to United. Harry Maguire, Fred, Alexis Sanchez. We also lost out on other signings. Pogba, who was nearly signed, but he went to United for more money. We also lost out on the guy who, Phil Jones. We were after Phil Jones. Thankfully, we didn't get him. But we have lost many a signing to United for more money. So just because United are suddenly going to get taken over all of a sudden, we are suddenly meant to now be scared that we are now going to get competition in the market. United have not spent no money. They've spent 1.3 billion more than Manchester City. They pay bigger wages than Manchester City. Cristiano Ronaldo, where did he go? And I can go on and on and on and on, but I'm sick to that.
Let me say this real quick too, because this is the part where we come with intelligent agendas. Okay, they want to point out that every player wants to put on the United badge. Well, if every player wants to put on the United badge, why do you have to overpay for them to come there? Why do you have to give them these big contracts and salaries if they want to play for the badge? Nah, stop. It's
no,
dumb.
I have no problem with players choosing more money. If I get offered another job tomorrow with another 20, 30 grand on top of it, thanks very much. That isn't my issue. My issue is...
hold on. Sorry. Hold on. Sorry, real quick. I know you're on the flow. But what I want to say is they want to say that every player wants to play at United. But at the same
vein... It becomes a heritage.
But then they want to also overpay for players to come to United. Which one is it? Because usually, to your point, for some of these big companies, that the brands that you would love to play here, you would love to work here, because you get so much recognition, and sometimes they tend to underpay sometimes depending on where you go. But the argument that everybody wants to play for United, and then on top of that, for you to secure these players, you're giving them the largest salaries. Nah, go away with that. You're talking out of both sides of your mouth. But sorry, I cut your flow.
I have no problem with Goldbridge having his opinion, or somebody else having his opinion.
Can I say one thing, Mike? I'm basically gonna say it. I don't mix words. I don't like Goldbridge, and I think he's a twat. And I think what he does it purposely. I've watched him for years, Martin, and he does all this purposely. Yes, I know he does it out of character, but you know what pisses me off? Whether it's his hustle or hard work, he doesn't have to come after City. Right now, where he is, he doesn't have to come after. I saw his programs on TalkSport. They gave him a platform. He says City are finished, City are in crisis, City are useless. Those are the topics. If you Google Goldbridge, it's always City. And I remember when we won like 4-1 against Bournemouth, he said we are boring. I just hate him. I think he's a twat.
No, but the simple fact is, I wouldn't mind Goldbridge so much if he had a set of balls and came and went onto a show like this or another show. I know there's a City fan, Big Steve. Do you remember when he did the Lad Bible thing? Yeah. And he went against Robert. I know he 100%. He was offered to go up against Mark Goldbridge. Mark Goldbridge declined.
Smart. Goldbridge smart.
That's my issue with Goldbridge. He doesn't come face to face with any fan in a debate. Not say this is not about let's have a fight. This is just let's have a nice football debate. The guy won't do it. The guy, if you notice, doesn't go out on other shows really. He stays within his own little area. Which is fine.
Because the Old Trafford say he must never step.
Don't sit in your mama's bedroom talking about another football club that you know nothing about. Yeah. He says about City have no history. I sent you all a song last night. Sent you all a link. That is what City fans think. This no history stuff. We're a club of over 100 years old. You know, I get Arsenal fans telling me, "Oh, you've no history. We won an FA Cup before you even became Arsenal Football Club. We were the first Manchester club to win a trophy. We hold the record attendance of anyone in this country, a fact that still stands to this day. To this day. I'm sick to death of the rhetoric that runs out of people's mouths because it's red media bias and some guy's got a £1.5 million plot. If I had a £1.5 million, this is what I mean. I'm not saying his hard work, but what people have to remember is it is a character. But have a set and go up against people in a debate then. Let's have an adult discussion about it. Don't just spout a rhetoric and then, but because you're so big, it turns into a fact. I'm sorry, he hasn't done a video talking about the toilets at Old Trafford that's got half a metre of urine covered in it.
He never will.
That ain't talked about. Hey, and that's the same. If City was like that, we'd do a video on it. We'd say that's a disgrace. That needs sorting out. But United fans ignore all that. And they sit there. They won a Carabao Cup. It's suddenly become the most important football trophy in the world of football. When we won it 4 times on the bounce, it's the Mickey Mouse Trophy. I'm sick to death of the agendas. Just have a set and go, do you know what? We hate City and we're biased and we're jealous of you. Just have a set. I was honest and I said it in the 90s. I was jealous of United because we won everything. When I went to school in Manchester, you think it was a nice time for me? I had Oldham and Stockport fans taking the mickey out of me, never mind United fans. To have a City bag at school was an embarrassment.
Yeah,
I wore it as a badge of honor.
Yeah, of course. You had to rep regardless of the good or bad times. And the thing is, this is where it becomes really frustrating. And this is, I love all the content that we make. Right now, I've got Clinical, True City Fan. I've got Martin Mancunian Way. But we also have the chance to make content sometimes with Don Smoke and Gundalorian with Pitch Points. And the thing is, what I love is we all bring a different perspectives. We don't always agree, but we bring light to our club as well as rivals. It's never just slanted with like ignorant bias. Like we don't talk that way. And the huge thing about this show, and I just want to take the second, like this show, we're here to discuss talking points that we can confidently say of our club, or sometimes just hit back to our rivals. Like, and we keep it lighthearted. It's never from a venomous and hatred standpoint. But honestly, when we watch some of the other content out there, all I get is hate though. There's no like banter, comical, make light of things. Like you can feel the hatred from it. And Goldbridge's content, I don't consume. I don't consume based off of watching it, but many clips come my way.
Yeah,
do you know what it is, mate? Do you know what it is, mate, with me? Do you know what's triggered me lately? And I'm sorry, I'm going to get very personal. And people say, Martin, you're emotional. I know I am. But do you know what triggers me the most? I'm a Manchester City fan because of my father. Everyone knows I've been quite open. My father's suddenly been diagnosed with Alzheimer's. At the end of the day, my father has worn the blue shirt at Manchester City. I was born a stone's throw from Main Road. Don't tell me my club have no history. Don't tell me that we have no fans. Don't tell me this because you're disrespecting every Manchester City fan worldwide. You are disrespecting a heritage of a football team. As long as you are a football team, you have history. Yes, some have more than others. What gets me is no Manchester City fan has ever turned around and said, we're bigger than United. No Manchester City fan has ever turned around and said, we're bigger than Liverpool. All we've ever said is, we're better than you. We never said we're bigger than you. We said we're better than you.
Yeah.
And we earn more money. That's all we've ever said.
Yeah. And you know what? Guys and girls in the chat, you have the rivals. They're caught. They're done when they revert to all of the cliche sayings, and you can close your eyes and you know exactly what they're going to hear. Whenever they revert to that instead of the topic at hand, you've already won. All right. And here, the mission at CIA is to gather and share intelligence to protect our club from rivals and the haters. And I love that we do this every week. Martin,
and that's why I've not gone on a rant, mate. I'm trying to do it in a very unemotional but serious way, because I don't just want to sit shouting and bawling because people don't want to hear that. But I've been triggered this week because it's hatred. It's hatred. And it's funny. And you know what? City will get listen, people have said move in silence. From now on, I will move in silence. I promise everyone I will. But seriously, nothing will give me more pleasure than us succeeding this year, more than ever before. Even if we only win an FA Cup this year, we should jump all over that for the simple fact we should celebrate every single little thing this year because it is us against the world. It simply is.
Yeah.
That's the way it is.
And it's also about the fight. And this, I know rivals don't take context, but it's about the fight. We're dealing with a season where we've won it 4 out of 5. And Pep's found so many different ways to motivate these players, so many different ways to deal with opposition that know us so well. And we've had our exits of players, and we've had new players come in, and we've had some fantastic moments. But the target on our back has never been larger for many reasons on and off the pitch. And I take that into context, and whatever we get out of this season, I'm happy for, because you know what? I know we train. I know we go into the gym. I know we come back fighting even harder next season. I want to. This is crazy, man. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. What Martin had to say with regards to United was bang on, and I missed some of it because I had to sneak away and talk to wifey and the kids. I hate to do this.
No, I apologize, mate. I didn't mean to derail anything.
No, I didn't want to take the flow. I want to stay within the flow of things and the context, and I wanted to have the fantastic talk. I want to ask this of you, everyone within the chat, if it is at all possible. If it's at all possible.
Alan's trying to get on Vader.
You know what? Actually, let me do this. Apologies, True City Fan, Clinical, and Martin. And Alan, I'll send you the link. I don't know why Mancini wasn't able to join. But I do have to tackle some things family-wise. If the conversation can continue without me as host, I will continue that on. Or we can look to, and again, everyone in the chat, or if we guys want to look to reconvene tomorrow at 9.
I can host it if you want. As long as you can end it, I don't mind hosting it.
Okay, fair. Exactly, fair enough. We have to talk about City. 13 goals in 2 games. We have to talk about what's happening next after the international break, and we also have to talk about this international break and what it means for Arsenal. Alan, I'm gonna send you the link via Twitter shortly.
Do you want me to send it to him, mate? I can forward it.
Yeah, forward it to him. That'd be great. And forward it to Gundo. I don't know why Gundo's there, so I'll pop back in to add them as speakers.
So what do you want to talk about, mate?
So real quick, actually, with regards to United, when they come back from the international break, United play against Newcastle, and we already talked about Newcastle and the importance with regards to the top 4 in that fight. But United are 3rd, Newcastle are 5th. So this is going to be a very interesting matchup when they do come back. With regards to City, I'm gonna put this. Let me do this properly. With regards to City, we are 2nd in the league. We've played 27 games. We have 1 game in hand. We have 19 wins, 4 draws, 4 losses. Oh, Alan in the building. I'm gonna add him right here. But we have 4 draws. We're at 61 points, 8 points behind Arsenal, but Arsenal have played 1 game more than us. The fixtures that we have when we come back after the international break, we've kind of discussed with Liverpool. We play Liverpool April 1st. April 1st is when we play Liverpool. I'm only focused on that game and how important it is. We need to get that win for the momentum, to continue the momentum that we had before the international break, and to continue the pressure that we're applying to Arsenal. So if you guys can talk about the importance of, or what you think of the international break affecting us, talk about the match versus Liverpool, and then if you can talk about this international break as it relates to Arsenal. Is it a blessing for them? Because I think they've suffered injuries to Saliba, and Xhaka was a little ginger, I think, this game. And then I'm gonna pop back in to close out the show.
Yeah,
Thank you so
much.
And in the comments, I won't be able to put those on screen. Can I assign hosting?
I can read them out. I can't put them on screen, but I can read them out.
So I'm gonna leave that there. But guys, amazing convo, such bonus content. Let me actually move Patrick to get him properly on screen here. And then, yeah, Alan, thanks for chiming in, man. You've heard everything going back and forth. I think the cooking, or I think the convo needs to continue. But I do have to bounce. I'll be back. True City fan in the building. Again, everyone's details are in the description. I'm gonna add Alan because I don't believe his account is in the description, but I'm gonna add him. Clinical, thank you so much. Chime in whenever whenever you got the points, and we see Patrick on camera, and we got Martin. Guys, thank you so much.
Patrick, me and you can dual host.
Nah, it's fine. It's fine. So where do you want to start? Oh, we just talk about the international break, how it's going to. I think personally, it's gonna kill the rhythm of us. No, not that I'm predicting, but I just don't like it, Martin, because if you look at City, it's like we're on fire right now, and boom, international break. I don't really want it.
Well, can I say something?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think that the international break will kill our momentum just as much as Arsenal's. They obviously had a very good result yesterday, which helped with Vieira disappearing and getting fired a few days before, which was unnecessary. As far as Martin's rant is concerned, against like Goldbridge and Man United, you know, I grew up I went to City when I was in the 70s, when we were better than United in the 70s. Let's be completely honest with you. We sent them down at Old Trafford, and I was there. I was only 8 years of age when it happened. We sent Man United down into Division 2, as it was then. And we used to get ridiculed left, right, and centre when we had our problems in the 80s and 90s, the financial problems. And when Bury beat us, we're higher in a higher division, and Oldham and all this. And we got, Martin's right, we got bullied left, right, and centre when we were going through those periods of real dark times. And it galvanised the club. The City fans all galvanised each other, and it was a weird scenario, Patrick. Just in case you know, when we went down 2 divisions, first game of the season, when we got relegated against Stoke away 5-2, Martin touched on it the other day. It was heartbreaking, and you know, but the first game of the season, the year after, in 2 divisions down, was against Blackpool at home at Main Road. And I'll be honest with you, when before the season started, I honestly thought we'd get about 10,000, 15,000 at maximum at Main Road. And I turned up at Main Road, and I was sat in the main stand. And the reason I was sat there, well, I play cricket at the end of every season. We got rained off, and even though it was a nice enough day, the ground was wet. So I, bless you, drove straight to Main Road, thinking there'd be a small crowd there. Got to the ground, went into my seat, and the ground was full. The ground was full of City fans and Blackpool fans. Every game that season, every team that came to Main Road was like their cup final. They had grounds that were holding 5,000, 3,000, 4,000, and we had 3/4 of every single ground we went to. We had great fun, even though the football was shit. We had great fun. Okay, but the fans all galvanised together, thinking we're going to drag our club back. And Martin will say this, and you know, I'm never saying Man United wouldn't do the same, because in the 70s when they went down, they had a full house at Old Trafford every week. But Manchester United, after the war, were in financial difficulty, and Old Trafford was bombed during the war. The Germans did us all a favour and bombed the place. Okay, and they shared Main Road for years. Okay, we lent them kits because they didn't have any kit. They didn't have any money to buy kit. We lent them kit. That's why we call them the Rags. And that's a true story. If you research that, that is a true story. Okay, we actually loaned them money to get them out of the shit, which to be honest with you, mate, we've never received a penny back since that day. So people like Goldridge, who's talking about history, has no idea about Manchester United history. One, because he's not from Manchester.
He's a Nottingham Forest fan.
Exactly. He criticises us at the moment, while everybody, Goldbridge, while everyone is criticising us left, right and centre, tells me we're a huge threat. When people are not talking about us at all, do you think we're a threat to them? No. So while they're all having a go at us and using any excuse to have a go at us, that means they're scared of us, they're jealous of us, they're bitter against us, and they've got an issue with us. When they don't talk about us, it means they don't. We're not a threat to them in any way. But when I hear them talking and carrying on, and they get really angry about it, as if we don't deserve it. Well, the players on the pitch deserve it because they're the ones that go out and win games. And I'll say to Man United fans, listen, Man United, if you want to beat us on the pitch. Beat us on the pitch, get your team and beat us on the pitch and try and do it fairly. If they do that, then I have respect. When United had Sir Alex Ferguson, and he was a brilliant manager, I hated every second of it. They were winning absolutely everything, every single year for God knows how long. And we went down 2 divisions. We struggled. We couldn't win games. We couldn't score goals. The year Stuart Pearce was the manager at City, we went half a season where we didn't score a goal at the Etihad. Not one goal. And Martin will tell you that. United fans, can you imagine the meltdown that would cause if United didn't score a goal at Old Trafford for half a season? They'll be rioting on the pitch. The United fans don't know the meaning of struggling. The Liverpool fans don't know the meaning of struggling. We went down 2 divisions and we still filled Main Road when he said and turned around and said we didn't have any fans. I'll be honest with you now, right? We had more loyal fans then than we do probably now, which is true. If you're a supporter of a team, no matter what sport it is, you've got to support your team through thick and thin, no matter what happens. Yes, we get upset if we're going to have a time, Patrick, when City are not dominant, when things don't go right, and we're going to struggle again. Okay, we're going to have the time, and that's when the fans around the world, like yourself, like Vater, I'm from Manchester. I grew up through my dad being a City fan, so I had no choice. It was support City or I get kicked out at the age of 2. Yeah, I had absolutely no choice whatsoever, and I'm glad he did. But you've got to be able to take the bad times on as much as anything else. Martin's been through that. We all have. But you've got to stick with your team. We can't have success every single season. It's impossible to win the league every single year, right? At the end of the day, we've won 4 titles in 5 years. If someone had said to me in 2007, when I emigrated from Manchester to Australia, that City are going to win the league 6 times in that period, I would have laughed at them. Because I never thought I'd see City win. I was there in 1976 when we won the League Cup, or as the Carabao Cup, against Newcastle when Dennis Chip did the overhead kick. I was at Wembley that day. You've got to support your team, and it was hard. Trust me, it was soul destroying, especially when your nearest rivals, United, won everything, and I mean everything every year, and we never thought we were coming back. Am I right, Martin, or not? Is Martin there?
Yeah, man. Sorry.
I don't know if Martin is here. It's good.
No, me. I'm just letting Alan speak.
I appreciate what you and Martin have done, though. Because these days I have, Martin, believe it or not, I have defeated so many people, especially United fans, who talk too much because some of them have the audacity to call you plastic. I remember I was having this other conversation. I went to a pub, and something just switched in me where I said something and they all shushed. I said, first of all, let me ask you something, right? You keep calling every City fan who comes here because it's a pub where they play sports. You keep having this same banter, plastic. I was like, most of you, some of them were from my country. Like, I know you from my country. The time you supported United, or when your parents, so-called parents, joined United bandwagon, I was like, why was it? They're like, they just wanted. I was like, no. The time when I was in my country, it's because United was everywhere, Martin. United in the streets, scarves, United, and United were winning. So your parents decided to say, let me go to United or go to Arsenal. You get what I mean? Because in Africa, that time, especially in Malawi, there was no Spurs. Nobody cared about Spurs. Nobody watched Spurs. Nobody watched Liverpool match. There was always Arsenal, and United was advertised on TV. And some of us refused to join those two teams. We said, no, we don't want to join these teams. I don't want to support these teams. I remember my dad was a hardcore United fan, but all of my dad, the only reason why he was supporting United that time, and why my brother, my cousins, and everybody who I know right now as a United fan, who are in England, who under me, all of them is because their parents chose United, because United had Beckham and them man were winning, Roy King, all those guys were doing well. You know what I mean? Cantona was doing well. If that was never the case, none of them could have joined United. If it was that time that it was Man City in United's seat in the 90s, during that moment, I bet most of them could have been City fans and sitting here. So I don't take people seriously anymore, Martin. I don't, because I think it's hate. Because if you look at Spurs spend money, but they don't succeed, so nobody cares about them. If you look at Newcastle are not a threat yet right now. You notice that people started arguing with Newcastle fans when Newcastle was third. That's when they argued with them. Newcastle is out of the top 4. Nobody's arguing with Newcastle fans anymore. They've ignored them. Anybody, I've just noticed they argue with you. You're right, Martin and Alan, when you start succeeding. If City was not succeeding as much as we were, if we were doing a Chelsea where we succeed and keep quiet, I don't think anybody would be pointing out anything about it. And Mark Gobridge, it was embarrassing when I saw that video, Martin, and he's been going on for a while. Lights, like Spurs do it. How come he doesn't talk about Spurs when they do the light thing? They even do the light show.
It's because he's bitter and twisted against City and Liverpool, right? He hates Liverpool, and he's bitter and twisted against City because he thinks we've done it unfairly. Now, our owners have grown a business from City have always been a big club as far as fan base is concerned, okay, but the club's not always been run properly, okay, and the business has been grown. Now you look at it compared to what it were before our owners came in, the business is totally different. It's massive now. It's a huge setup they've got. Now they're making money. Why do you think the corruption at the Premier League and the UEFA, which it is corruption, are bitter against us? Is because we're doing well, not just on the field, but off the field massively. Yes, they've grown. They've gone down the avenue of not. They realise they're not going to get the fan base that Liverpool and Manchester United have got, and maybe Arsenal. Okay, so what they've done is bought 10 teams around the world, 10 clubs around the world, and growing it that way to get the brand out. Now, is City fans going to grow around the world? Over time, it will. 10, 15, 20 years, it will.
Alan, I think
but it takes time. But it takes time.
Alan, I used to, when I came here 10 years ago, right? And I remember when I was wearing my City jersey, walking around, even in Zambia, Tanzania, when I was traveling, even in Russia, they used to say, "Oh, you're the only." Even in Russia, they'll be like, "You're the only City fan we know." You get what I mean? And that time it was banter. Even in Ireland, I remember a Spurs fan bantering me, saying that was like 12 years ago. Say, "Oh, look at this guy. He's wearing a City jersey." Right now, yeah. Alan, kids, when you go to the football matches, Alan and Martin, United fans are nowhere. United jerseys are nowhere to be seen. Liverpool jerseys are rare, like 1 kid, 2 kids. It's all City jerseys, all of them training kits, City training kits with De Bruyne, Haaland. That time it was Foden. Foden was popular at a point in time. I think 2 years ago, it was Foden in the back of each jersey. And now when you go to the shops, something that I never saw Alan and Martin in Ireland, they were not selling City jerseys years ago. Now it's all Man City. Man City is first this side, then it comes to United catalogs, and then Liverpool. So things are changing. Right now, kids would rather support City than support Barcelona, because I remember Barcelona was also popular here, but kids are wearing City jerseys, especially this red and black one was popular months ago. I think for December, a lot of kids got it for Christmas. If some kids, when they come to the cinema, it's all City. Aguero, I remember it was all Aguero. The other jersey when Aguero was last season, it's all City now. So things are changing at the end. Even if you go to these supporter groups, City has started having these big international supporter groups. So things are changing. I think that's what hurts most of the other fans.
They're looking for a reaction. They're looking for a reaction. And whatever happens in this charges, between 2008 and 2013-14, there was no Premier League FFP rules. None, zero. So how they can charge us for that period? They can't, because there's no rules. Okay, What they're trying to do is a fishing exercise because they've got no physical proof apart from stolen pinch emails, which in a court of law in the UK could not stand up. So,
But by the way, Carl's joined us now. Good evening, Carl.
Good evening, gentlemen.
No.
Sorry I'm late. I was working, man. Apologies. Good evening, Alan.
Did you try putting it in?
hey, mate.
Good, thank you.
But Manchester United and Goldbridge. Goldbridge is a bandwagon fan with United. He's a bandwagon fan. There's no question he's a bandwagon fan. I'd like to know his history before he would have supported going through the Ferguson years.
I'm not particularly bothered about his damn history personally because I'm not that bothered. But you know, it's what he does that annoys me. And I think this week, the only thing I would ever say is that they can come after us all they want. These rivals and everything else. We are answering them in the perfect way.
Correct.
By doing what we're doing on the field. By Pep doing in the press conferences, by the fans being more galvanised than ever before. What I'm seeing right now, I have seen more in the last 4 months than I've ever seen. I feel like Manchester City is back being the community it was. Because I think we went through a small period during this season where we were slowly breaking apart. And I think what happened in January has galvanised us all back together again. And has made us even more strong.
Exactly. Some players are not celebrating goals. Did you notice that? I remember there was sometimes I was saying, why is he not even running to hug?
You weren't getting any huddles. Yeah. You look at November, December, they weren't huddling up, having a chat before games. They even do it now at the second half. So it's properly galvanised everyone. But just going back to, I mean, Carl, have you got anything you want to add on that before we move on to people's thoughts for the international break?
No, I think Alan said it all. There's nothing more to add. He gave very clear. Now, I will say one thing. You know, so yesterday I take my son out to. My son is part of the academy here. I take him out to a practice session by another guy. Just get a variation. So I show up. Right, they got these 7-year-old kids. 2 of the kids, right, and my son are wearing City shirts. Literally. One is wearing a Sterling shirt from 2 years ago. The orange and the yellow one that's kind of blurred. That one that I don't like.
Yeah.
My son's wearing the Holland Manchester B one, and there's another kid wearing the blue. All right. So. You know, I talk about I'm walking down the subway, the metro, I'm seeing young kids wearing City shirts. My son comes back from Manchester and he has an accent. He doesn't pronounce City like I do. He pronounces City like you do, Martin, because they've taught him there. So there's a whole generation of kids that are learning about Erling Haaland and the City and De Bruyne and Phil Foden who want to be like them, who are watching them every single day. This is.
And do you know what? Do you know what, Carl? Do you know what I love even more? Just going back to the shirts. If you look at the rumoured home kit for next season, I just picked up on it a few weeks back. Do you know, it was the exact same design that we wore in our first ever season at the Etihad. Because it's gone really, really sort of under the radar. Next season is our 20th year into the Etihad Stadium. And this is what this club is all about. This club is about heritage. This club is about remembering little milestones and everything else. Even the kits now, it's going to be the exact same kit virtually that we wore 20 years ago in our first season. If you go back when we had Antoine Sibierska and John Macken and things like that, if you go back, it's the exact same kit. And that's what I love. It's the heritage. And for anyone to ever state Manchester City don't have any history, for anyone to ever state about no fans, the people need to realise if you are a football club, you have history. Some history is more than others. And this is what gets me. No, and I said it earlier, no City fan has ever said we're bigger than United. We've never said we're bigger than Liverpool. We've never said we've won more trophies than them. All we've ever said is we make more money now and we are better. That's all we've ever said. We've never said we're bigger. We're just better. That's just a simple fact of the matter. And if they don't like it, fine. No problem. But
yeah, the problem is when you're winning, as Alan mentioned earlier, when you keep winning and winning and winning, it pisses people off.
Of course it does. Human nature.
So and people start to ask questions because that are irrelevant, far-fetched, or have no substance, if you would. They make all these accusations. It's what happens.
So
and the reality is, this actually influences referee decisions on the field. I'm telling you.
Yeah. So do we talk about this because I was before you come in, I was also talking with Alan and Martin about this international break before we start talking about.
I don't like it. I don't like
the fact that it's come at a point where we have a 10-game run with clean sheets and the team is gelling, and then they're gonna break them again, and some of them will come tired. You know yourself, Belgium will not give De Bruyne a rest, and me and Martin, I think we agreed on one thing. We've just noted one thing: this Alvarez kid, when is he gonna rest, Carl?
Well, he's been resting on the bench for a long time.
Yeah, but come on, you know what I mean? Because
no, I think he's talking a mental rest, as in holiday, going away, don't think about football, rest.
Mate, the guy just quintupled his salary, mate.
No, I understand that. I get that.
Go ahead, Martin.
I get that. I'm just thinking, I think De Bruyne says it sometimes. You can have a mental burnout at the same time.
Well,
you can have mental burnout.
If players are going to have mental burnouts, you can understand it because they've had the World Cup in the middle. They've not stopped playing football because of the World Cup and the Premier League. The players at the end of the season, it would not surprise me. Well, usually they have, about 3 weeks off. If Pep does say, look, you can have a whole month and a half to 5 weeks off before the season starts. If we come back undercut for the first week, he's done it before, where we've been undercut for the first week because players have taken an extra week off. I think,
but that's what we do anyway. Yeah. We've always done that under Pep.
Yeah, and he will do that again. At the end of the day, Pep is the boss. And he deserves our respect for what he's done. And if we don't win the league and Arsenal win the league this year, so be it. If Arsenal win the league, they deserve it. They've played well this year, and they have played well. And if we don't win it and we finish second, so be it. We go again next year. We haven't played well all season this year. We've only played well since January. Before that, we were very, very inconsistent, and everyone's got to agree with that. Everyone's got to agree with that. At the end of the day, our club is run really well. As long as we prove our innocence in this court case, whenever it is, this non-independent commission, because it's not independent. They picked these guys. The Premier League have picked these guys. It's not independent.
But by the way, Alan, it's not about us proving innocence. They've got to prove guilt.
Well, we've both got to do. At the end of the day, between me and you, I would like us to prove our innocence as well. Then
no, we don't need to prove innocence, Alan. That's not the way the law works. The law is innocent until proven guilty.
Well,
they have to prove our guilt.
Yeah, but it's not an independent commission, mate. It's a kangaroo court, and you know it is. And you can, it's not an independent commission.
For me, I'm not even worried about this stupid charges game. I'm not worried about it.
No, I'm not. I'm not actually worried
about it.
Yeah,
I'm not worried about it. I'm genuinely not. And maybe that's arrogance, whatever. I'm not worried about it whatsoever.
How long is the break again? Is it 2 weeks?
The break is 2 weeks.
Liverpool at 12:30.
Yeah, the break is
Liverpool.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
The thing that annoys me is
the draws, though, Martin. The draws
we've just had a bloody World Cup.
Yeah.
Why are we banged straight into another international? If it's the fact is, friendlies, you know what? A lot of players could go out, but these are European qualifiers. It's like, why? Why are you doing European qualifiers in the middle of a World Cup year? That's just, and I understand they're going to say, well, it was different World Cup because of where it was, so we had to do it in December. Then fine, you need to sort out your football calendar then. These players are not pieces of meat. You can't just keep flogging them and flogging them and flogging them until they drop. It's stupid. It's absolutely crazy because you have idiots. Do you know, by the way, someone said yesterday, Roberto Martinez is now in charge of Portugal. So he's going to go from Kompany and bloody KDB to Diaz and bloody Bernardo Silva.
Yeah, he is.
I'm like, stop it. You're just going to flog these guys. You know, Roberto Martinez is even called in Ronaldo again.
How does he do it, man?
Because
I don't know how he even has a job.
There's no half decent managers out there. So
Do you know what it is? It's arrogance. It's Roberto Martinez to go, I've managed Ronaldo. It's an arrogance thing with him. There was no need to bring Ronaldo back in. It's like, what are you doing? Even some Portugal fans are a bit shocked at that one. They're like, what? What have you called him up for?
Do you think maybe it's the Portuguese sports organization just automatically sometimes tell you definitely have to call this man or there'll be trouble? But you know what I wanted to say? I wanted to say something on the City thing. There's one man I hope gets game time, and it's for the benefit of Man City, is Phillips. I think Calvin Phillips, if he goes to England, I hope he gets as much game time as he can. Just because I want him to get back to rhythm. Because whether or not people might banter about Phillips or say about Phillips, I'm not giving up on Phillips and most of the players that came in this season. But to be honest with you,
big sign yesterday, Pat. Big sign for me yesterday.
Speak on it. What's up?
All I'll say is Calvin Phillips not starting yesterday told me a lot.
You mean starting in the FA Cup?
Yeah, not even starting him in the FA Cup. In a much changed team.
But we're not having the same frustrations when Fernandinho was still being started in FA Cup games and Rodri was just getting a few minutes in.
No, but Rodri was playing a lot more than what Calvin Phillips says.
Yeah, but here's the funny thing. As we're speaking, I'm watching the Burnley game and Phillips has just come on. He's not bad. He is not bad. He's not as bad as some of the fans are saying. There's something about him.
I'm bet against you on that one, Pat. I didn't think he was very good at all.
Do you think Phillips is not good enough, Martin?
Listen, I'm happy to give him another year because I always give every player another year. But in the 15, 20-minute cameos I've seen a lot of giving the ball away and not sure what he's doing. Normally, when you say about Rodri or a Grealish or a Sterling in the first year, I fully get that, but I still saw something. I'm struggling at the minute. I'm willing to give him another chance, but right now, if that rumour about Bruno Guimaraes for Calvin Phillips is true, I'd snap the hand off.
You know, I really don't think it helps Phillips' case at all how well Lavia has been for Southampton as well this season.
Oh, you mean Lavia? Oh yeah, Lavia has also been incredible.
Yeah, he's been amazing, and the fact that we have that buyback clause on him, I think a lot of City fans are thinking, you know, just don't have any patience with Phillips and get back Lavia. And it's a bit of that.
In fact, is Phillips 28 or 10 in 29 or 10 in 28?
He'll be 28. He'll be 28, 29 next year.
I don't know. What do you think, Gao? I still think there's a baller in this guy. I think there's a player in Phillips.
There's something about him that's not right. The Phillips I saw yesterday is not the Phillips I saw under Bielsa. There's something missing. There's a step. There's something not quite
Confidence
there.
And mentally, maybe.
I don't know. There's something. I mean, when it was at Leeds, I mean, this guy was energy, long.
He was dynamic.
I mean, he was kind of like Fernandinho. You know, that the attributes that we want in a Fernandinho. That's what he was. Fearless, box to box, you know, breaking up play. Today, he just looks very passive.
Maybe it's
do you know what worries me?
New system and his confidence is gone. You know.
Yeah, but Pat, here's the difference. You're talking about Rodri, Sterling. When they all came to City, they were young. We're talking a 27-year-old. We ain't talking a young lad here.
Fernandinho and Mahrez came old.
No. But I think Mahrez has had a very up and down time at Manchester City. Anyway, Fernandinho did what? Nearly 10. I mean, he was 21. He was what 22 when he come. He wasn't 27. Did nearly 10 years at City. So he was 20, 22, 23 or whatever he was. So he wasn't 27, 28. At 27, 28, you're meant to be in your prime of your footballing career.
Martin, his first year wasn't great, and you know it wasn't.
No, I understand that, but he wasn't 28 years old either, Alan.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
At 28, you're meant to be in the prime of your footballing career.
But playing the Pep way is different, and you know it is.
All right, have you seen anything in the 15-minute spells when he's come on that makes you think yes?
But that's 15 minutes, Martin. I just feel like
It's not enough. It's not enough, mate. It's not enough. He needs to be playing games.
I just feel like he's been given.
But that's my point. If you can't even get a game against Burnley at home, when you're playing Rico Lewis, Kyle Walker, and Laporte, who've hardly played, then I'm worried. When does he get a chance?
Well, this is the $1 million question, isn't it?
Because you're not going to play him the rest of the season now. He might get minutes against Sheffield United, but I don't think he starts that either.
Can I ask you a question? Guys, can I ask you a question as well? McAtee and Doyle. Is McAtee coming back?
No.
I would like it, but do you know what? Let me just be honest. Also, do you know who looks ready? It's quite funny. It's actually Doyle who looks ready.
Yeah, no, mate. The pair of them are good, mate. Pair of them are
to go where? To go where?
They look good though. But
no, they look very good. But again, where are they going? Who are you dropping? There's no point them coming back to sit back on a bench.
I'm not saying they are going to come back.
Wait. So do you, Alan? Maybe you and Mrs. We will look at quality in them. Alan, maybe we should just allow Sheffield United to come up with them if they come up and leave them at Sheffield United in the Premier.
Well, Sheffield United are not going to come up, mate.
What position are they? Are they not second?
Well, no. It depends on the outcome. Depends on the outcome.
They've got massive financial issues. Massive.
They might end up getting docked points and everything. They're in a bit of trouble at the minute. But that's nothing to do with McAtee or Doyle. Because listen, they've been fantastic. They've been fantastic. Do not get me wrong. But it's like the Cole Palmer situation. Do you sit him on the bench for 75, 8% of the games? That doesn't help their career. Doesn't help them.
Yeah. If City want to bang them on loan again, I'll be sending McAtee, Doyle, and Cole Palmer to Burnley next year when they're up. I'll be sending all three of them there. I
mean, someone's made a very good point in the comments here. Blue Chand. Pep never brings back players when they've been on loan. It's a good point.
I don't know.
There's not many players who've gone out on loan and come back. There's only Angelino we've ever activated a buyback on, and that was to make money on him.
What I saw from that marketing kid when I used to watch him, I think he's a baller. Like, I think he's skilled. I don't know.
It's interesting to say, Southgate's had a go at clubs and their academies saying that these players are not getting an opportunity in the first team, which is correct. He is right, which is making the talent pool go down. So if I was a Jason McAtee, I'll be dead straight with that. If I was a Jason McAtee or a Tommy Doyle or a Cole Palmer, I'll be demanding a transfer so they can get a game because there's England spots to grab, and there is.
Do you know who frustrates me is like Doyle has been loaned out a lot, but him and Howard Palace, I think that they're not being let go. Like some of the players are being let go immediately, but some of these players I think they're not being let go because City is keeping them on arm's reach, saying just in case. I think so. Because I don't know, I just think McAtee is talented, Martin, and you know what? I know
he's very talented.
It's heartbreaking to see that. Okay, we've got a certain standard. It's just when I look at our team, sometimes those moments when things were breaking down, I'll be like, McAtee could have had an opportunity here. Could have been one of the guys smiling in training. But I get what you mean, Martin.
The trouble is, it's like Carl said, and I was like you, Pat. I was team full of Mancunians. Get these young. I would love EDS to come through, but like Carl said once, what do you do? When you are at the top and you're trying to fight for titles and everything else, do you take the chance and throw 2 or 3 kids in and say to a Bernardo or a Gundogan or whoever we buy in the summer, I'm going to rotate you with an EDS player? That EDS player is sat on 20 grand a week, and you've got a full international who's sat on 200 grand a week.
I'll ask you a question, Patrick and Carl. I'll ask you a question now. If City choose not to go into and buy Bellingham, and they bring back Tommy Doyle and Jason McAtee and play Cole Palmer instead when Gundogan disappears and Bernardo goes the other way, goes elsewhere, and they bring in all these 3 lads and maybe even bring Howard Bellis back instead of going at the centre half for next season, would you be happy with that?
You know my answer. I don't know.
I think
I'm not asking Martin because I know it's you, but I'm asking Carl.
I mean, clearly Bellingham is better than Bellis, Howard Bellis, and McAtee, and all these guys. Clearly, he's better. There's no doubt that he's better. So,
yeah. But would you be happy?
No, of course not. Of course not. Because we want to compete for the title every single year. We want the quality that we need to do that. So they're not quite there yet, in my opinion.
To bring those kids in, you would have to accept that you have a year or 2 of
rebuilding.
No,
but the only thing I would say is that if you look at Lavia, for example, Lavia is proven himself in Southampton to be a player who can play in the Premier League. In fact, I would almost say,
is he good enough to play for City though?
He's good enough to play for City. He's better than Calvin Phillips right now. To be fair.
Right. Well, Calvin's playing international football. Is Lavia?
Yeah, Lavia is.
He's just been called up.
He's the Belgium. Now for Belgium.
Belgium have got rid of Martinez, and now they're bringing all the youngsters in.
I'm telling you, Alan.
I'm going to ask you a question as well. I'm going to ask you a question. We just talked about that, and you're like, oh no, they're not ready. Okay. When Ferguson brought in Beckham, the 2 Neville brothers, Paul Scholes, but right, Giggs was already in the team because he was still young, right? When they did that, everyone had the same attitude at United. Oh, you can't do. They're not good enough. Don't try.
It's been done once.
And what happened?
Yeah, it's been done once. Name me another time that's happened.
Yeah, but the only time it's happened, it fucking worked for United because he had faith.
No, Alan, I get what you're saying, but that's heart ruling overhead.
Yeah, but they still did it, mate. They got rid of Mark Hughes, Brian.
And would you be happy then to not win the title for 2 or 3 years?
If it meant the lads coming through,
or compete.
Yeah, or if it meant bringing the lads through for a year, and us not competing, I would. If at the end result, 3 years down the road, we were winning the title with Manc lads.
Can I say something? Look, at the end of the day, like the same thing when I was glorifying Lavia. Lavia was handpicked by Kompany. Kompany told City to get Lavia, and Lavia. The reason why I was talking about him, and I know he had few times where he was coming. This is why I don't judge players, because Lavia has been brought in for 15 minutes when the game has already been won, and then when he loses the ball, City fans could say, "Oh, he's not good enough." It's just Lavia was the guy in Belgium. They were saying that he can play centre back, and this kid is so smart. And looking at Markety, I don't know. I just put him higher than I think he.
I agree, Patrick. I saw something in McAtee that I thought.
Yeah, well, I think he came at the wrong time, Alan. I think he came at the time where it was not a good time to come in, because this is the same thing. The City scout said, "Oh, Enzo could not be brought in because we already have a midfield that's packed." He said we could have got Enzo for cheap. When that scout said that, so it was the same for Markety. The time he came in, it's a time where some people were at the peak of their powers, they were doing well, but I just felt like, I don't know, I just felt like he would have been one of the guys who, like this Palmer thing.
Patrick, let's say City don't get Bellingham, which is a chance that might happen, right? Then what do you do?
think you draw him back. I don't know. If it is up to me,
Yep.
I'll bring him back with experienced legs, with experienced people around him.
Yep. I'm just gonna drop out for a second. I've got a call coming in.
Yeah, but
okay?
no, this is also the thing, Martin and Clinical, and obviously Clinical. This is to you. So the other situation is also this: we have Maximo Peron. I don't know where he was in the Burnley match, but he's also staying. So is there a way back for Doyle and McAtee? Clinical is gone, isn't it? Is Clinical here?
Doyle and McAtee. The thing is with McAtee especially, I remember him and Palmer were coming through at the same time, and we kept Palmer and sent McAtee out on loan. I had a feeling it was this type of situation where the team was getting full and we had to choose which one Pep wanted to keep and the other one had to make his way. And obviously, like you said, there are a lot of players that went out, got sold and had buyback clauses on them. So the fact that McAtee is on loan and wasn't sold amongst that group, he actually signed a new contract during that time. I do have a feeling that there's a chance that Pep still wants to keep an eye on him. He did say that Palmer and McAtee will follow the same model that we had for Foden in terms of being integrated into the Manchester City team. You know, even though Foden didn't go out on loan, but still, I
don't think it's the same model though, is it? Because Foden never went on loan.
But Martin, this is also what makes me laugh about McAtee. It was the first time I saw Pep come in for a sign-in for a guy like, because Palmer did his extension, Pep wasn't there to take a picture with him. He actually called McAtee's parents. Remember that was the news thing saying he has to stay. This is the right place. I just think McAtee was unfortunate that the time he was coming in, our midfield was well, because I remember the game against United where Gary Neville was like, oh my God, where do they get these copies? It's as if David Silva left the sun when McAtee drilled through the Man United defense. I don't know if you saw that game. McAtee came in, him and Foden were doing 1-2s. McAtee went through the midfield and then I was like, where are they getting these kids from? I just feel like he just came at the wrong time, but I just feel like there's a baller in there. But
I mean, Blue Art makes a good point in the comments. He says, don't forget, we do need to remember we've got an English quota we need to hit as well. Which could be another way around it. You know, maybe that's one way to hit the English quota.
Oh, yeah, you're right about that. So what do you feel of just before obviously I don't know when Pet is coming, but what about this? I didn't hear from you, Martin. So how did you feel after Bayern were picked against City, Martin?
Totally fine, totally relaxed. I don't understand. I've heard a lot of arrogance coming from Bayern fans, like it's a God's given that they're just going to turn up and beat us.
Were they arrogant today, Martin, against Leverkusen?
Well, yeah, exactly. You know, I think some Bayern fans have forgotten. Bayern have actually struggled, especially at home. They've drawn a lot of games at home. Drawn a lot of games.
Here's a silver bullet for Bayern fans when they talk about Bayern Munich. Okay, let me just be clear. It's Nagelsmann versus Guardiola. Okay? Let's be clear. This is like Arteta versus Pep. In fact, it's actually worse than Arteta because at least Arteta's won something before. This is like, with all due respect, Vinny versus Pep. With all due respect. There's a light years in terms of coaching experience, coaching mentality. And truthfully, player for player, we actually have better players than you do. Think about that, right? Think about, the number 9, Choupo-Moting. Choupo-Moting versus Erling Haaland. Pick a choice. Ruben Diaz, De Ligt. Upamecano or John Stones. Right? Nathan Ake or Joao Cancelo. Kyle Walker, maybe Kimmich is the only one. But even Kimmich plays midfield, but Rodri versus Kimmich. So all over the park, frankly, we have a better team.
You forgot about Davis.
Okay, Alphonso Davies is probably the only one I would say, okay, maybe he gets.
Well, I think there's 3. I think there's 3. For me, there's Koeman or Coleman, Davis, Kimmich. Are probably the only 3 I'm thinking. Mane over Alvarez? I'm not sure.
No, and mine is not even fit yet. He's injured. He's not even fit. It's just getting back to fit. He's not even fit. And so
I'm Bayern have changed. Bayern have gone with this three at the back high line, which is actually their Achilles heel at the moment.
3-1-4.
Massively their Achilles heel. They don't know how to do it. Do you know what Bayern look like at the moment with this new formation when we very first changed it? At the very start of the season, when we went to it, and we were all having some fans were having a moan about it.
What is he playing these days, Knucklesman?
3-1-4-2.
Yeah, this is why Cancelo's suddenly out the team again, because he's left the team that was playing three at the back and walked straight into a team that's adopted that.
Is that statement true where he says there's a snitch in the dressing room? They're giving away our tactics. Is it true or it's banter?
There's always been a snitch at Bayern's big dressing room, mate. There's always been.
The trouble is with Bayern. Bayern think that they've got some divine right to the European Cup.
Yeah, I thought it's heritage.
This is what it is. But Bayern Munich are very much the same as a Real Madrid in Spain or a United in England. They think they've got the divine given right.
I'll tell you something. Let me share stick with you, Martin. Right now. I don't think they sleep comfortably with the fact that Erling Haaland's coming back to play them.
No.
I can guarantee you it's the worst possible draw they could ask for. Let's be clear. All this talk of Bayern Munich fans, it's all just fear you're hearing. They do not want to play this guy. He knows them like the back of his hand.
And I'm quite happy it's at home first. That sounds crazy, doesn't it? I'm happy we're at home first because we can get the job done at the Etihad, go back to the Allianz Arena and do our job. I am more than happy. I am more than happy with being at home first. 23, 24 games unbeaten at home. Do not mistake, the Etihad is now a fortress. Yeah. On European nights, we are making the Etihad as loud as any other stadium on a European night.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
They are not going to want to. They are not going to want to walk into the Etihad on that night. And here's the difference: Real Madrid. This is not Real Madrid of last season, where we have 5, 6, 7 chances and we don't finish our dinner. What we've got now is an Erling Haaland who will stick. What you're seeing at the moment is an Erling Haaland who will stick 5, 6, 7 of these chances away. And that's why I'm saying that this second leg may be irrelevant if we get on form. I'm not saying it's going to be a walk in the park. I'm not saying, but this arrogance from Bayern Munich needs to understand they are not coming to a Manchester City that is undercooked and don't know what they're doing.
Martin, but
so
they know.
I actually have a question for you guys. Would you have preferred this draw against Bayern or we play Real Madrid again in the quarterfinals?
It doesn't matter for me. Anyone.
Me too.
Let me be clear, right? It doesn't matter to me. Give me anybody. I'm serious. Because I said this from the start of the season, right? And anybody, Patrick. And here's the reason why. When we signed Erling Haaland, I said to Patrick, this season could be special. Because all of a sudden you have a guy who loves this competition. It's what he lives for. His ringtone is a Champions League anthem. It's been his ringtone since he was a kid. He's broken. This is his competition. He even said in an interview, they signed me to the Champions League, right? Last week. He said it. Quote. So what you're seeing from him, 5 goals against Leipzig. No, we're not talking about 5 goals against Burnley. Right? He scored 3 against Burnley. 5 against a Leipzig team that Bayern Munich cannot beat away.
Can I just say something on the Champions League? People know me that I'm not overly keen on this competition. My issue with the whole competition is this season, if we win it, then I will give it the props it deserves. For one simple reason. If we're going to win it, we've got to win it by beating the so-called best. That's what this competition is meant to be about. I'm quite happy we're on this side of the draw, as mad as that seems, because now we will have earned the Champions of Europe tag. And I don't want to win a Champions League by beating Villarreal, Benfica and Porto, with all due respect. That doesn't make you the best in Europe. Going and beating Real Madrid, Bayern Munich and a possible Napoli in the final makes you the best in Europe, because you're beating the best around Europe.
The other side makes you lucky. Just makes your point.
That is where I get excited about this competition. This is where I'll give it the props. So when people say Martin H Champions League, no, what I hate about the Champions League is what Liverpool did last year, where they looked themselves to a final and then claim they're the best when they've not played the best. We've now got to play the best. So if we win the Champions League, we've earned it this time. And we've earned it the hard way. We've beaten the best in Spain, the best in Italy, and the best in Germany.
It's funny you said that, because why I asked my question was, for the whole week, this week, I've been telling my friends, I have a feeling we're going to draw Bayern. And part of that was because I wanted to draw Bayern. I didn't want to draw Madrid over Bayern specifically, because we haven't played Bayern in a while. And this is a team with Champions League history. So we definitely can beat this Bayern team. I'm confident we beat anyone left in the Champions League right now. If we get them out the way, we move on to Real Madrid. And I don't want to use the R word, Salah's favorite word. But if we get past them this time, I'm pretty sure, I'm very confident this is definitely our year.
Yeah, I'm just going to read a couple of comments. Blue Arts put out, look how we were worried about the Leipzig second leg. We thought it was going to be tight. Bayern Munich are better than Leipzig. There are not many bad teams left in the quarters. Quite right, Mr. Roll-Up. Bayern just lost to Leverkusen and Madrid lost to Bayern. Not afraid of either of them. Chelsea, Bayern and Madrid are all beatable. And then Blue Art, for teams like Madrid and Munich, second in the home league, will just make them more determined. So there you go. It's much of a muchness. And we've just got to, what we've got to do is look at it game by game now. Game by game. And we'll land where we land.
Yeah,
but this
you
team...
know what, Martin, sorry for cutting you. You just reminded me. That's also another thing. I don't think Bayern... I know Bayern have won that league for so long, but this is the first time also Bayern have been in a situation where they haven't won the league with 10 points already by now. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're not clear. So they're still competing in the league. I don't know. It's up to them if they're going to want to out of the league for the sake of a Champions League. Maybe they will. But I'm saying it's good that we're also going to meet Bayern while they also have one mind on the league, and they have one mind on other cups. While I think they've been knocked out of other cups, to be honest. Isn't it, Carl?
Very much the same with Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Madrid got beat today by Barcelona. Which is madness. When you look at it, is it Madrid and Bayern that have took their eyes off the prize and they're going for the Champions? I don't know. I don't know. But to me, when March the 19th, the rubbers finally met the road and City have turned up. We need to start learning as fans. You respect every opponent, but they need to start respecting us. And where we land, we land. We got a great tie today in the semi-final of the cup.
I guess I'm looking at. Hold on a sec, guys. So, oh shit! Excuse my language. So, Bayern Munich come back. The first game to come back is against Dortmund, April the 1st.
Yeah.
Then they're away at the very difficult Freiburg. Freiburg are difficult. They're a difficult team. And then they come to the Etihad.
Okay, can I ask you something before I finish? Do you know why? I think I just want to clarify this because
if they don't win, sorry, Patrick. If they don't win that game against Dortmund, Dortmund could be 6 points ahead.
Yeah. I saw that. I wanted to ask you. I want to tell you guys something. You know that the time when we were playing Burnley and when we were playing Leipzig, I kept on saying more goals. I think I said it in the group. It's because of the fear factor, Clinico and Martin. I think the fear factor went at the beginning of the season. Some teams were taking us saying, we can go at City. I think fear factors is very important, at the point where even like Liverpool and City were beating teams in the tunnel. I think going forward, Martin, I'm telling you, just watch. When we come back from the international break, you'll see teams will be beaten already before we go on the pitch. That's why I know it's Burnley. I feel sorry it was Company, but we have to make an example. Because I'm telling you, Martin, Cow and Clinical, if we went toe-to-toe with Burnley and we did not up the gear like we did and went ruthless like we did, people would have said, look at that, Burnley who's in the championship are top. They even give them a goal. So we can also give them a goal. But now they're looking at the Leipzig game, Burnley game, Bournemouth game and say, wow, I think City are back and I think they can slap you again. Once it gets into the other rivals players' heads, trust me, people will be beaten in the tunnel again.
So just some facts. So Bayern Munich's in the Bundesliga, they're third in the league in terms of their home form. Dortmund are first on equal games. Their away form, they are top of their away form, but they're equal they're 2 points ahead of Dortmund. So, I mean, the next game is against Dortmund first. Then the next game after that, before they play us, is against Freiburg. And Freiburg are literally fourth in the league right now in Germany. They are
Fourth.
Yeah, fourth. So they're playing the top team, Dortmund, when they get back. And right afterwards, they're going to play Freiburg, who are fourth. And Freiburg are hoping to get a Champions League spot. Everybody's played 25 games. Like Freiburg are on 46 points with 25 games. Bayern are on 52 points with 25 games. So 6 point difference. So they lose.
The man is back.
They lose to Dortmund. Dortmund they lose to Dortmund, then literally that Freiburg game becomes massive because Freiburg will be on 49 points. They have to win that game.
Yeah, so do you think, okay, I don't know, obviously we're about to finish in a few minutes. So this is my question to you, Carl. Do you think there's going to reach a point where Bayern will say, or is the title race so tight, or the top four so tight that Bayern can afford to lose? Because I'm thinking,
they can't afford.
Yeah, because I'm thinking, would it reach a point where they'll say like, oh, we're going to go for the Champions League? But looking at this table after Beda, big up to you, Beda, for bringing this up. This is where my question is answered. I don't think they can afford to say, let's concentrate on the Champions League.
No, they can't.
Because I see Leipzig can still jump back in. Wolfsburg and Union, okay, it's tight. This is what I wanted, because Bayern and Madrid have always gone to the Champions League stages, like the quarters, while they're already 10 points in front.
Yeah. And let's be clear. I mean, Union Berlin are also pulling up trees in Germany. They've done really well. In fact, Bayern hasn't beaten Union Berlin. Some of the draws that Bayern have is because Union Berlin took some points off them. In fact, I think they didn't beat them. So it's not an easy game. They come back straight to Dortmund, and then have Freiburg, and they have City. Not easy at all.
Yeah,
it's going to be interesting.
I want to thank the amazing panelists. These are intelligent agents. We had Clinical, we had True City Fan Patrick, we had Mancunian Way Martin, and we had Pitch Points Gundalorian Carl. Amazing. This stream, my longest stream ever. My longest YouTube stream ever. I've gone longer playing video games on Twitch, but that's another story.
You still have to play me on FIFA. You're still ducking.
I'm not ducking, but we're gonna make that happen. I only play with City, so we're gonna have to figure this out. I want to thank everybody in the comments, and I was reading them. I popped away, and again,
it's all right because I only play with Bayern Munich, and you know why on FIFA.
Okay, all right. There we go. No conflict there.
Only because the speed merchants on FIFA.
No problem.
I see that.
For our
You
game,
follow Sonic.
It's no problem with me.
Oh, you know what? It looks like CIA is gonna have its own FIFA battle that's gonna happen.
Yeah, it looks like there's a tournament. It looks like challenges are being thrown here.
It's international break.
Trust me, gentlemen. It won't be any tournament.
Oh, look at that. Okay.
You know what?
I see.
We've got an international break to deal with. We're gonna have some time on our hands. I want to thank each and every person in the comments that was putting them out there, having the conversation. Wasn't able to post all of it, but you guys were always having the conversation amongst you guys, and this is what it's about. It's about City fans talking scenarios and reflecting on what's happened with the season, and then also sharing their points of view. I'm so glad that Alan was able to join and Pitch Points were able to join and come through. I'm sorry I wasn't able to be here for the entire time, but I'm going to go back and definitely check out the rest of the show. Please follow each and every panel member. I'm going to add Alan's details, but all of their details are always in every video that I drop. Their details are in my description. So there's no reason why you haven't dropped a sub on me and them. So please do that today if you haven't already. And I want to also stress there will be an episode of Why Always Me this week. There's definitely going to be content from Pitch Points, True City Fan, and Mancunian Way. So definitely do the damn thing and follow.
Not this week.
Ooh, Martin's taking a break. Okay.
The Mancunian way will be having a week off. I will be on other shows, but there won't be any content on the actual channel this week.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
I'm going on loan for a week.
Yeah, I have seen you popping up. I was watching.
I've actually had, I'm not kidding you, I've had about 5 requests already.
I have seen you popping up everywhere. I was also watching the
Oh,
better. You want some
it's like madness. And can I just say, by the way, go and subscribe to Beta Games, Pitch Points, Clinical on Twitter, and go and give True City fan a lot of love. And they all deserve it. It's one big family. This is what we're saying. It's galvanized everyone. Can I just say, I know there's a lot of people who were on my stream earlier. It's hit nearly 2,000 views in 2 hours. I just want to say a big thank you to each and every person who's done that. We are trying to get to 2,000 subs by the end of the season. I'm doing a pat now. I'm being really shameless. Which I'm trying to hit 2,000 subs by the end of the year.
It's the
you know what
way,
it is?
Martin. It's the only way. If you don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. It's not even so much about the shameless part, but it's funny because I know that some just assume they've already subbed. And what I actually realized, I was following channels that I had to resub to. So I don't know what happens with the whole algorithm sometimes, but I knew I was following these channels, but I was no longer following them. So please don't take it for granted sometimes. Make sure that you hit that sub button, get that notification. And at the same time, like Pat said, if you don't ask, you don't get, and you got to do that at times. This has been amazing. I can't wait to hear back what Alan and Gundo had to say. This international break, I think I'm going to stress it again on my show, Why Always Me, later in the week. I hate the timing of it. I absolutely hate the timing of it, but we're City. We're going to make it work. You know, Pep, he's already thinking. But the pressure, yeah, that's true. The pressure, the tenseness. Oh my gosh, Alan just joined again.
He's like a bad smell. He just appears.
he just popped in. But Alan, I see you in the comments. I honestly do have to shut down. I want to thank you guys all so very much. And hit that notification button. Make sure you're following everybody. And we're out. Episode 4 of the CIA Intelligent Agendas. And we just had another banger. Thank you guys all.